In the middle of the night, or early Friday morning, depending upon where you are in the world, a group of experienced comics professionals get together to examine and instruct about the art form that they love. That's great comic artwork on Comics by Night, Fridays at 5 a.m. Eastern, here on the Indie Comics Network, indiecomicsnetwork.com.
What was that? This is not a charade.
In a world where creatures of myth and legend exist, a covert task force is charged with keeping humanity safe from supernatural threats. And when young Nancy Moon stumbles into the eternal battle between good and evil, she finds... Oh my god, will you shut up? What's happening? Agent Beckett here. Aren't you tired of stuff like that? Want something different? Roll the tape. Whoops. Sorry about that. That's a song I'm writing for my ex. Okay, here we go. Yeah, that's more like it. Alrighty. Welcome to the world of the mythicals. We have it all. Monsters. Magic. Government agents. He's the strong silent type. This guy. Ugh, gross, dude. Get some kind of cream or something. Lots of 90s style action. Pew pew pew. And that strong female lead alluded to earlier. Not to mention a dashing field commander with a great sense of fashion. Look at those glasses. South River Studios presents The Mythicals, Issue 1. Buy it, if you dare. Ugh, will you can it already? How'd you get free? Now beat it before I lose my cool. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today. Like right now.
Sign up today on Indiegogo.
What a crowd! What a crowd!
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Greetings, Earthlings.
Good.
It is a beautiful day out today. And
Wait. Did you just
Florida.
assume my planetary orientation there, T-Tony? Really? No.
I didn't mean to misspecies you. I'm sorry.
yeah, whatever.
No, to the best of my... I am indeed an Earthling. We're joined by somebody I don't know offhand, so...
Yes,
Hi, Eric.
Oh,
Eric Hodson.
Hello.
Eric is a good friend of ours. We've known him for a while. He is the creator of Dreaded Dinosaur Man. He is the artist for
American Bliss.
American Bliss. He's the
Oh,
artist
wow, okay,
for
Red Dinosaur Man. I am
Ariel the
familiar with
Mermaid.
American Bliss, everyone should be.
Yep, he is the artist for Ariel the Mermaid. He is the artist for My 8th Day Story. He is also...
In other words, it gets around.
Yeah, he gets...
No. See, this is what I love
Yeah,
most
yeah.
about this show. I get to meet people who are allegedly important, like that EVS fella, and then people who I find actually important who create things that I really dig, like Eric Hodson's work.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
all right. So law of first mention. There it is. There it is.
I want to thank him for
Right.
supporting the show.
Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Thanks for stopping in. We love you, brother.
I actually checked that stream out, the infamous chair stream.
I know you. Here's the deal. Bunny is always fighting EVS, right? Like they're like mortal enemies. But here's what you don't know about Bunny. He has spent money on every EVS campaign that he's got. Like he's second chanced his second chances. I'm telling you. Bunny is a secret simp, okay?
Yeah,
the worst kind.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
See, my problem is
long
with
ass
that
Badass.
is, I wear Hawaiian shirts, but my coat tends to get real brown real fast whenever, like, anyone becomes an authority too easily in my mind.
Right.
It's like,
Well, I think that's our nature, isn't it? Like,
well, yeah. I mean, that's
I buck authority. I've done it since I was a kid. I can't stop myself. I'm like, my wife says that I fight recreationally.
yes, you do.
I can see that.
I think I do.
We all
I think I
at some
do.
point. I mean, folks don't know about what just happened.
I got on the phone yesterday with James Rock of Broken Compass Comics, and we talked for 3 hours. We argued for 3 hours, and it was one of the funnest conversations I have had in weeks.
Okay.
We disagree on everything. We disagree on everything. Yeah. He's like, and I'm like, look, as much as you're going to advocate for writers, I'm going to advocate for artists.
Oh, okay. I was about to say,
Yeah.
he's not saying that Batgirl apartment that haunts my nightmares
Oh, no,
was
no,
good
no.
art or something
No,
like
we
that.
both
feel-
agree
I-
that was bad.
I still think
Okay,
that's a
see,
troll.
what's-
That's just me.
You think so?
You know what?
I
do.
believe in the
think it's
crocodile
controlled by the
hunter
artist.
method.
From the
See, I
bottom
believe in the
of
crocodile
my soul,
hunter method. That's like,
I hope,
hey,
Justin, that you're
that
right.
thing
I
looks
hope
dangerous.
that-
Let's see if it's
Seriously, no.
ridiculous.
I mean, and I will die on this hill. Same with the Matrix. I think the Matrix Resurrection was a troll.
Oh,
I
that
do.
was 100% a troll.
Yeah. I
That
do.
was that the last one?
Yeah.
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 They didn't
Oh,
want to
yeah.
make it.
Yeah,
They
it
didn't
was
want
a,
to make it.
it was a
It
troll.
should have been called Matrix Regurgitation.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
No,
and,
it was,
and Alfred
it-
E. Newman is clapping
You know what?
somewhere.
Maybe somewhere in Epsilon City, there'll be a movie poster for that.
There you go.
Ah.
I'm glad I didn't watch it. Yeah. Well, here's my thought. We're doing the Spank Bank or something like that, right, Randy? Where Spanks the Monkey is going to kind of revive a silly kind of Mad Magazine type thing. I don't know.
We've talked. There are plans. Yeah.
Yeah, or
that
the
would work,
international,
though. The
or it's
Spank
called the
Bank.
International House of Spank, or I don't know. It's
I
going to be
like
something.
I like
that's
the
picking up.
Spank Bank myself. So
Yeah. So it's going to be something
It's-
like that.
yeah.
But I can
Says a
definitely
lot.
see us doing a parody of Matrix Regurgitation. So, yeah, as you guys can see, my backdrop is changing again. Again, next Thursday we'll probably have even more boxes stacked up in the back. Pretty much my entire office is packed up now. It is just about ready to go.
Congratulations on pimping out your first order trooper. I mean, it's hard to find an available corner in Jacksonville, but I heard Bob's doing pretty well for himself.
He is, man. He's
$20 is $20.
We gotta. I'm telling you, we gotta pull in that moving money. We gotta we gotta get the rest of the truck money. So
throw that link up for people who.
I will
want to
find
help.
that link and I will throw that link up. I will do that. I'll absolutely do that. But
I also need. Where do you want people to go for the RPG? What link do you want people to follow for the RPG?
Right now, follow hybridsrpg.com. Hybridsrpg.com. That will lead you to wherever it's at the time. Keep signing up for the email right now that we have up on Indiegogo. They have Shadow Bandits. You can't find us there. So we're not going to launch there. So we're either going to... We'll talk about it towards the end of the show, guys.
No, that's fine. It's
real quick.
I hit the end of that really neat. We were on a podcast, had a blast with Steve and Steve.
So before you segue into that, I just want to ask real quick: are you still accepting orders for Rift Riders?
Yeah.
I know it's in demand, so I just want to know if I should be shilling it for you or not.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so yes,
we're going to be going to print real soon on that.
By all means, speak on my buddies Steve and Steve.
Okay. You had a great time on that podcast.
Yeah,
very good.
Yeah.
It was an absolute blast, but Luke had to duck out because they thought they were going to get us and me talking about the RPG and a quick little hour show. I'm like, oh, friends, it's cute.
Friends.
I mean, you guys don't understand.
Y'all know Nick when he's gotten going. Like, you don't know him when he's gotten going, right? You know him in the morning. He just woke up, guys, right?
Literally.
Wait till you see him in the evening. Right? Randy's got it. Yeah, you wind him up, you let him go. And when you get him talking about something he's passionate about. Yeah. Energizer Bunny, man. This guy does not stop.
Sounds like a threat.
It's a threat and a challenge.
There you go.
That's what she said.
Don't just say that to me.
fun.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Who's got the Billy Tucci bell?
That's Randy.
Randy Zimmerman.
Oh,
Randy,
okay. Sorry. There you go.
Randy, ringing that bell.
That's an old
Highlighting the truth.
That's a broadcasting trick.
I have a monkey too.
He's a monkey.
Oh.
So here's the deal. You know how you are preachers know they're doing good when people take up an offering. You know you're doing good when Randy rings the bell.
There you go.
It's
right.
positive.
It's a way of butting in
affirmation.
without actually butting in.
You know what? Speaking of preachers, my gosh, this preacher that's kicking us out of this place. He's I'm still on his text message. Like every morning, he does some devotional thing, right?
Oh God.
And they've all been very cryptic, like he's trying to send me messages without sending me messages, and I'm like, man. And today was about how. I mean, it was just so hypocritical. I can't even get into it. It made me sick in my stomach. So finally, I was like, "Look, take me off these messages. I can no longer."
For I
stomach your
have
hypocrisy.
discovered in whatsoever state I'm in
Cannot
therewith to
handle
be
it.
content. Right?
Yeah,
Oh,
no, it was worse than that. It was like Satan will send people in your path that will reject your love and things like that about love. And I'm like, this is the man that prayed over my dying body, is without provocation is kicking us out of this joint. So I'm like, no, I'm done. I can't take it anymore. I said I can't take it.
I was looking for nice Nick. I really was. I was trying to be nice. I want to be nice on this program. I like to be nice. However, kind Nick is here. Kind Nick has to tell the truth. And I kind of really think that this guy needs to look in the mirror someday and go, I want him. I would love for him to be able to look in the mirror and say, I kicked a crippled man out of his home after lying to him. You know, I see my
That
problem. I
preacher
was
is
raised
asshole.
Catholic. All the guilt, none of the release of being access to confessional, and it's like I would love for this fella to really, because at some point he's gonna have to. That's in the ledger, my friend.
Yeah.
And I believe folks have a ledger, and you know. I'm a man of
You should
peace.
respond with that Elisha verse about what happened when they made fun of his bald head.
Yeah, and Bear come out and ate him up, making him the kids, right? But here's the deal, you know, and so like it's been like one message after another, you know, one about, you know, letting your pride get in the way and waiting on the Lord and don't go to lawyers and don't go to, you know, counsel. And I was like, you know, I'm like, look, dude, like, so you don't think I prayed about it before I went to a lawyer? Like, you don't think I asked God, what should I do? You know, of course I did. And what did God tell me to do? Go to a lawyer, right? And it talks about pride. This dude has his face on the side of his van.
Wow.
Like, it's one of those things.
That's a red flag where I come from.
Right? Like,
Down by the river.
You know, he's got his face. I'm like,
Is
come
this
on.
the Clefo Dollar Power Hour? Or
What is more
what?
pharisaical than that,
Creflo
right?
Dollar.
I'm like, what is more pharisaical than that? I tried
Free flow.
I tried to, you know, chalk it up as a, you know, like a personal thing, like, you know, like it wasn't a big deal. But man, now I'm like, now it's like all those things. It's like it's just bothering me really bad.
Yeah,
Well,
God,
you know
God
what?
told
But
me.
that's
God
just,
told
you
me that he's going to buy me an airplane. So I need you.
Well,
to
yeah.
send
I
those
know you need to
donations
give
in.
me your money.
You gotta have that
We need a
airplane because there are
Google
too many
screen.
demons.
We
Live
There
by
are too
faith.
many
For the
demons
world's
on the
worth.
plane on not normal flights. And if I'm going to fly, brothers and sisters, I need my own airplane to keep the demons from attacking me. They're attacking me. They're coming upon me,
Gee, I
friends.
wonder-
And
I
I got
wonder
to
why.
really, I'm like, brothers and sisters,
There you go.
I'm Alana.
Alana.
I'm Alana.
if you are scared of
All right.
demons on that plane, you aren't much of a preacher. You should be you should be delighting in the opportunity to knock some demonic heads. Thank you very much.
Well, you guys missed it though.
Somebody take
it
up an
wasn't
offering
that
for
he
Nick.
wanted a Gulf
Yeah.
Stream. He wanted a new Gulf Stream.
Yeah, not
was
a,
the
I
problem.
knew.
To
I
replace
knew
his
those
old
two.
one.
Well, you see,
God,
the
chocolate
demons,
to
they
him, too.
crept into his old Gulf Spring.
So they had
It
a-
happens
they
when
had
it
two
starts
Gulf
to go out of
Springs.
style.
But no. So anyway,
Alana.
it just
Back
that
on
bothered me.
track.
You know,
Hands
it's,
upon the screen.
that's you know that's been bothering me. But we are
Absolute Hamalana.
yeah we are moving next Friday and Saturday. So we'll be packing up and we'll be heading out. So next Thursday I'll be streaming from right here. The following Thursday I'll be streaming from the new place. So new backdrop. And so the internet will be up
Exciting.
over there already.
And-
We are working. We're
Indiana is
Everything's
making
flying.
it's getting warmed up on its ultra deep freeze for your arrival.
yeah.
To
there's a
remind
snow
you-
storm coming.
Permafrost.
Yeah, the permafrost. So here's what's funny. I knew like this changing over to LLCs and businesses is a pain in the neck, right? So I had researched it a while back because I knew that we were considering relocating to North Carolina or Tennessee, possibly Indiana. And so I was researching it, and so I knew it was going to take a couple of months to do all this. And I'm like, great, I've got a couple of weeks. The fastest thing that has happened so far in this process has been switching over my LLCs from Florida
nice.
to Indiana. I was able to do it in an afternoon.
Wow.
From my
Good.
couch, from my phone.
Look at that. That's some divine favor right there, bro.
Right. Yeah. I'm like, okay.
The
That's not
bureaucratic
a
I don't
red
hint. What
usually-
is?
I don't
It was
usually
the
speak
parting of the
like that.
red tape.
It's a
friends.
parting of the
It
Red
was-
Sea.
Red
the parting
tape?
of the red
Yes.
tape. I like
Yeah,
that.
the parting of the red tape, and Luke was able to
Yeah.
ride through.
So-
I'm telling you, if you want to see a miracle, you try.
And I also saved $800 this year in taxes because of the switch at the time I did. So,
Wow, nice.
so because it's before February, I don't have to re-up the LLCs in Florida. So basically what it is, I had to start new LLCs in Indiana, and then I had to dissolve the ones in Florida so that I could transfer all of the EINs over, right? So that's how this works. And if in Florida you have to pay the fee every year, like it's a brand new LLC, to pay the tax on top of your taxes that you have to pay for the year. So it was going to be basically around $400 for for each one of my LLCs, which I have 2 currently, because I haven't started the Crack-A-Boom Coffee LLC yet. Not until we have product in hand, which that's coming. That's coming. Eric has designed a beautiful logo for us, awesome. And so looking very, very forward to that. We're actually right now we're waiting on a test flavor for the dreaded dinosaur flavor. Believe it or not.
All right.
Yeah. So the
awesome. I love
the
it.
the cherry bourbon. So we're looking forward to that.
Cherry bourbon.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's gonna be tasty, I think.
Good
so
selection.
yeah. So it's gonna be pretty exciting stuff. But so it was gonna be around $800 additionally this year, and so I didn't have to pay that, and it was less than $200 to start up both LLCs in Indiana, because Indiana makes it very, very enticing for people to move their companies or to start companies there. They're very much an entrepreneurial kind of state. So yeah, it just all worked out. Like, I mean, talk about favor. It really did work out. So that's been this last week. I mean, there's been a lot of things going on this last week. But Nick, how was your week? You doing all right, man?
No. No. I'm still. See, the part of the reason I'm so spicy is I didn't get enough sleep last night to feel like it's morning.
Oh yeah,
been there.
Part was, you know, we had to dig out the snow, and it had to be the shovel, wait 2 hours, shovel everything again to keep up with it, because it was.
I'm not looking forward to that.
Well, it's the first time we've had the wet, nasty snow since I've moved down here.
Down here? Oh boy.
Well,
when you say down here in Indiana, that
like
could
where
be,
were you? Yeah,
but that doesn't necessarily mean down. That could be anywhere.
Yeah, I got.
I used to live up in the hills in LaPorte County.
Kinda.
So we were just only about 20 miles maybe from the Michigan state line as the crow.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So there is down from you for you.
And then the other thing is we were up at about 350 feet. Because it's in the moraines, the hills that were dug out by the glaciers that carved the
nice
the Great Lakes.
Everything in this area was carved out by the glaciers. Yeah.
The lake effect snow would sort of go over the thermal of Michigan City, and then because we were higher up, just hammer us constantly. I mean, all our cars had hats. When we'd go into town, because we'd scoop the snow up but leave the stuff on the roof. So there'd be like, you could always find my car in the parking lot because there'd be like 2 foot of snow.
It's like 2 feet taller than all the other ones.
Streamlined by driving.
That was Michigan. Yeah, that was made illegal here a couple of years ago. Yeah, no more hats here in Michigan.
Oh,
car hats, that is.
Wow.
Car hats. No hats, but masks.
No toppers. For all you
ticketable offense here.
Rocket League players, no toppers.
Well, I know Gretchen Whitmer, you might think it was a hate group. So it's
guys, have you seen this new
no hate,
horror movie? Have you seen this new movie they've got out called? I think it's called Virus or Sick or something like that. It's basically these folks go to this cabin to quarantine together during the quarantine, right? But this murderer starts like someone's there and starts killing them, right? And so this lady's running from someone covered in blood and comes up to this car and is banging, let me in. The lady's got a mask. She's like, do you have a mask? She goes, are you kidding me? I'm like, I don't know. Like, this is, I kind of want to watch it. I kind of don't.
To reality, too.
Right?
Too close.
Too close to reality. Yeah. I was asked yesterday to do the voice of a puppet show. Someone's, that's all I'll say. Someone's like, we kind of need your voice. And I'm like, sure.
So what kind of puppet show?
I don't know. Probably not a good one.
You'll know real quick when you get the dialogue, I guess.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, you want me to say that? I don't know.
It was a puppy. That was the puppet an asthmatic?
I don't know. I think because I have this new ASMR voice.
Right. There you go.
You know, you do have some early like Darth Vader energy now.
I do.
Just
yeah.
occurred to me. Well, because you've gone like dark side, and when you pop the mask, and Darth Vader's a little more Darth Vader. It's you know the rugged, breathy voice. You know what? I'm just waiting for Luke to come on one of these shows with Sith eyes. just like, finally I've gone dark. So, oh, darn it,
Well,
Luke.
Luke has got. He's a lot better than he was. He said he used to sound like Malcolm in the Middle, that the boy in the wheelchair.
Yeah, that's pretty bad to start with. Yeah.
At least your voice is improving. Mine's permanently stuck like this.
Yeah.
Oh,
Pedro.
I don't know if it's going to improve any further. I don't know if it's going to improve any further.
My, full house today.
Yeah, it is. We got a great panel. Randy started out this morning complaining we won't make him complain.
No. You don't want to put that on the air.
No, we're not going to put that on the air because everyone would be like, "Oh, well, F you, Randy." That's
don't need any federal entanglements either. So.
Right? Yeah. That's one of the things where people are like,
hey, Luke.
Yeah, Pedro.
I have a religious question for you.
You have a religious question for me?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll try.
Do you perform exorcisms?
Do I prefer what?
Exorcisms.
Do I perform them?
Exorcisms, yeah.
You know what? Let's.
If you talk to Nancy, she might be able to give you a good number for an exorcist. She just had her house done.
So this is what happened to me yesterday. You know, 3 a.m. is the witching hour.
Yeah.
So at 3 a.m. yesterday, my bathroom door opened up with a bang, and the light went up. Now I can understand the door opening up, but who turned on the lights? Oh my God!
Just like it happened. Right
there we are again. Holy crap! Timing is everything.
Is there someone in the bathroom?
Oh my God! It's going to be paranormal activity. Next thing you know, Pedro's
all right. So here's what you don't know about me, Pedro. I actually used to do ghost hunting. But yes, I have done blessings in house, like where we've gone in and we've prayed over the houses, blessed the houses, and I've been involved with some other stuff like that, but I don't want to get into that on the air.
I'm going to be mildly unpopular in some of these circles, but I don't care. They may have a bad rep and get bashed a lot, but this is what I call the Catholics scenario. They specialize in this stuff. They may or may not like you, but I'm going to tell you they hate the sulfur-smelling crowd and the people who won't stay dead far more than any issue they have with anybody else. And they've been doing it for 2,000
You know
years.
why they don't like ghosts? Because ghosts tell people where the bodies are buried, and the last thing Catholics want is for people to know where the bodies are buried.
Yeah.
Oh
okay,
God!
So
who thought you no place?
To get back to the topic, can we do that over Zoom?
Oh my gosh!
Or straight to something?
We'll talk, man.
If it keeps happening,
Whoever said Ouija board needs to walk away right now. Don't even play with those things. Those have opened up more messes than anybody ever needs to deal with.
If it keeps happening, just tell them to stop. And tell them you're freaking them out.
Yeah,
and then
it's
if
your
it
house.
Keep happening, then start looking for an exorcist.
Or ask them to pay rent.
That too.
I flashed him with my manhood yesterday.
Does anyone practice Santeria down there in Panama?
They're going to get more active now, Pedro.
Does it go down that south? Santeria
stuff right there.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of Santeria going on, but
I mean,
I don't practice Santeria.
Have you ticked anyone off lately?
You know
I'm a little worried.
I'd have $1 million, but I'd spend them all if I could find that Pedro and that ghosty that he found. Never mind, I'm sorry, guys.
No, that was oh Lordy!
Sublime.
All right, we've descended into chaos.
That was the best singing I've heard out of you since you came back. I'm stone serious because you weren't thinking about it.
You're welcome
you
for
were
the motivation.
clear
there.
for a second there.
At least she's out of here because of your Sublime.
Yeah,
I know. I'm sorry, guys.
Sublime, man.
He apologizes, Kelly.
I am really sorry. I used to sing professionally, but we've descended into chaos. Let's go to the chat and welcome who's here.
Yeah.
We got Agent Zero, not only in the chat but on the panel this morning. Welcome.
Yes,
we got
we're going to
RB
the
in
chat
house.
for good order and discipline.
Yes.
I know
RB
Johnny
is in the
Cage
house.
must not be in there then.
Johnny
Facebook
freaking
says,
Cage.
I didn't
That's
realize
right.
how much bacon frying sounded like water. Now I gotta pee. Yeah, they are very, very close. Dreaded Dinosaur in the chat and on the panel. We've already sent you the link. Immortal Rising Comic is in the house. Welcome, welcome. It's nice to have you here this morning. We've got the comic book Black Belt Mr. Russ Leach in the house. Welcome,
Russ,
talented man.
I love your show. Seriously,
Pedro Ang.
I love your art.
And
Oh my god!
in the panel, of course. If you can ever find a drawing comics the Marvel way that he was a part of, then get it, because it's the best. It's the best.
Put it on the list.
Welcome, Hojo. This pastor sounds like a peach. Yes, he is a peach. A big fuzzy peach.
You know, you can call the Catholics on him
Dave,
too.
Yeah. Welcome, Dave Brink. It's good to have you here today.
Hey, Dave.
Another
What's up,
wonderfully talented creator in the house. We got Phantasmagorical. Welcome, Phantasmagorical. Doug Curtis in the house. If they making comics using AI, they really need to be upfront about that. I will never plop money down for AI art comics. And we're going to talk about that because we got a link to a campaign that is an AI comic book.
Yep, I just
We're going to talk about that.
And well, just a kind of a preview. It was something that I opened Indiegogo and it was saying, "Hey, this may be something you're interested in." And I'm like, no.
We have got a lot to talk about today.
No, interested? Yes, I want to know this is going on. I don't support it, but I want to know what's going on. It's like, I'm not interested in having my car broken into, but if cars are getting broken into the neighborhood, I want to know what's going on.
Oh, Lord.
Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes-Benz?
You have to be amazed.
Make a mess. If you sing it bad enough, they don't dare copyright strike you.
You have to be amazed at how much of a turn IGG has done in the last 6 months.
Oh my gosh, it's sad.
It's amazing.
That's why it's with trepidation that I'm even going there. It's just I made them, I just kind of like said, hey, I'm launching on February 3rd, and so I gotta stay true to what I said. So
yep,
I understand.
Erst Best
Eric,
Entertainment is in the house. Welcome, Erst Best.
Hey guys. What happens when you farm out your trust and safety panel to a bunch of hobgoblins?
That is what happens. Hobgoblins. That's the nicest
A
way
word
to put it.
sticks from Portland.
You speak my language, sir, and you are welcome on this panel anytime.
Welcome,
that was
sis.
delightful.
It's nice to have you in the house today.
Hi, Kelly.
Yeah, and then
Speaking of exorcisms.
Yep.
Yeah. I think
I
she
wish
meant
it was a
anointing
hobgoblin.
oil. She said annoying oil. But, it
Annoying.
can be that too.
Yeah.
It can be
Well,
that
it is.
too.
You're annoying the
Welcome,
the
welcome, File
spokesman.
13. File 13 is in the house. Morning. Is it karaoke day for the stream? I thought I heard the voice of an angel. it might be. It might be.
It was
You
rather
need to get that guy on.
sublime.
He is hilarious.
Let's
He's
bring
such
him
an
on
asshole. I
anytime.
love that
Anytime.
What kind of angels are you hearing, File 13?
Joe Sanchez in the house. It's beyond me how people
Hell's
pay for
Angels,
AI
baby.
garbage. It's dead on art.
They don't know.
Sterile.
They don't know.
DOA.
I don't know.
Dead on art.
Yep. DOA.
Well,
All right, so let's
still
get
buy
into
Marvel comics too. So
The same reason why they buy really crappy art at conventions. They don't see it. Normies just can't see that stuff.
They don't get it. They don't get
this
it.
is what happens when you pull art education out of schools. I'm sorry.
That's
I
why
hate
they
to put
hire
it that
cover
way,
artists to
but-
do sequentials.
Yeah, dude.
boom.
I mean, the thing-
That's how you get Willis.
The thing with some normies is that sometimes you just have to pat them in the head. Because, dude, like, somebody saw, like, a piece of animation I did, dude, like, 6 months. It's like, but you do better than this, right? And it's like, dude, I want to kill you.
You do better than what? You do better.
Really want to.
I
Yeah,
just-
you do better than this, right? It's like,
I'd like to just, I'm not a violent man. I'm not. But, some days I kind of wish I was.
But God created golf clubs for a reason, and shins are sensitive. No,
Oh, my shins.
but
no.
Pedro, ask them to do better is always my response.
No, the only
Do
thing is, like,
better.
I want to make a lot of money so I can buy, like, a fire engine.
Uh huh.
And just hose people down when they say stupid shit like that. Just like,
Get a drink from the fire hose.
yeah.
You know what they remind me of, right?
Well, oh,
I gotta play it, guys. You know what they remind
do
me of.
it. Do it.
Oh, sorry, buddy. Hello. have reached a place that no my yay. No my yay. Keep on touchy, trago stadinte. Miam in teste, okitayay.
That is probably has more followers than all of us now.
Thanks a lot, Luke. I actually just got that out of my head, and now it's firmly planted as an earworm.
Yep.
Emotional, damn it!
Well, I tell you what, Justin,
That's
I
okay. Listen
promise.
to Hanson's Mbop. You'll get it out of your head.
I promise at the end of the show,
erases all earworms.
We will give you an earworm that is so much better than that. Because if there's
At
one
the
thing
end,
we
we'll
want
get you.
everybody out here to do, it's, be careful out there.
Be careful out there.
No!
Oh my God!
No!
No.
Oh, I love
Setting you
that.
No!
Suffer
All right.
for my amusement, T-Bunny.
Hey, Bunny, I know you can drive a little. Can you watch the comments for me while I'm taking care of this stuff? Appreciate it. All right. IDW, once again, I'm coming to you with news of comics that have been propped up, and there are issues. There's issues out here, guys. And this is kind of the stuff that we've been talking about. If you have been listening to Zim for the last, 4 years, and thought at any point, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about, and now you're sitting here thinking, oh crap, you're probably now realizing that the stuff he's been saying has been correct. We know that talent is not getting paid. We know that. We know that people are losing money. We are seeing what's happening with not just Aftershock Comics or Heavy Metal, but we're hearing this about a lot of these companies. IDW, who arguably had a good year, is look at this. IDW Publishing post big losses. Okay, this is from an article from it's ICV2.com. All right.
If I may interrupt here, this is a site that was started by Capital City Distributors for in order to keep their former retailer clients informed about the nature of the comic business. And this is a grand example of not only how the comic business works, but how media in general has become. Yeah. When you go through and you read this article, it's amazing.
Yeah. So we're going to read portions of this, not the whole thing. We do encourage you to, I'm going to stick the link for this real quick. Copy. I'm going to put it in the comments so that you guys can bookmark this and save it for later.
And savor it. Yep.
And savor this. Because this is guys, this is serious stuff that we're dealing with here. So IDW Publishing posts big losses in its fiscal Q4 and first year ended October 31st, 2022. The company said in its earnings release and annual report, most of the year's losses occurred in the quarter. 1.6 million of IDW's 1.9 million loss for the year occurred in the fiscal Q4. Wow. Wow. That's a bad quarter, guys. But comics are fine.
Comics are booming.
Yeah. So Kelly's
money.
Comics are booming.
Well, see, IDW does have a secret weapon. They are the latest stop for Heather Ontos.
Oh yeah.
It's going to turn around. It's going to turn
like
around any day, guys.
Yay! Think about what you've accomplished.
Okay, for those listening at home, that was Gail Simone, not Heather Ontos.
Not Heather Ontos. Yeah.
But still a good friend.
I'm sorry.
You have any Kelly Sue DeConnick? We got comics are booming.
Comics are booming.
I've got to find it now. Now I've got to find it.
Don't like my politics, don't buy my comics.
Don't
Okay.
need my books.
No.
like that
I love
song.
when people tell me not to buy things.
It seems
It
to
makes it
money.
easier for me to be a cheapskate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
the
say
pillars
so
of
much
safety.
money.
When somebody tells me that I'm not allowed to buy their stuff, I agree with them.
I just don't.
Well,
I just don't buy it.
I wouldn't buy that
the
for
publishing
$1.
the publishing division's loss for the quarter came on revenues of 5.7 million, down from 6.9 million in the year ago quarter, so a year previously, primarily due to reduction in new releases and the tough comp against a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin release in quarter 4.
Well, yeah, there's that.
Okay, so that release was huge in 2021. Okay, awesome. So yeah, they didn't have another title that big, so they were up against that. So that's going to skew their numbers a little bit. But they also didn't have as many titles coming out, and that problem's only going to get worse, guys, because they lost a lot of their licenses. Now they do have a new book coming out, a Rocketeer one-shot that the writer of the movie back in the 90s had written a short story for. And so what they did is they compiled a number of short stories, and they have a one-shot coming out. I'm actually looking forward to that a lot because I'm a huge Rocketeer fan. Okay?
Speaking of that, do you have the Disney Adventures little digest magazine that featured a Rocketeer comic in it?
I don't.
Well, then you need to put that on your radar, buddy, because
I will
I just
put it on.
remembered it, and they may actually be like reconstituting that one.
Very good.
Who knows?
All right, so
Yeah, hey, Earth's Best Entertainment. So in other words, it's a good time to pitch the IDW. Yes, it's also a good time to to play the violin on the deck of the Titanic.
I don't know, man. Like, yeah,
no,
like,
but hell no.
Yeah.
You want to pitch to IDW so they won't pay you too? Like,
Oh, there you go.
there we
yeah,
go.
dude.
All right, expenses were up despite the decline in sales. Here's the other problem that we're running into with these places. They're spending more but making less. Expenses were up despite the decline in sales. The quarterly loss of 1.6 million compares to a 0.04 million profit that they had in the previous year's quarter. That fourth quarter, yeah. So for the year, publishing revenues were up a hair from 25.3 million in 2021 to 25.8 million in 2022, driven by increases in non-direct market revenue, book channel sales of TMNT, The Last Ronin, and they call this Enemy, games revenue and retail exclusive revenue, partially offset by the decline in direct market revenue. Here, they're even saying there's a decline in direct market revenue, right? Where people say, no, the direct market's doing fine. No, guys, it's not. The system's broke. We need to fix it.
And that's as far back as their reporting goes,
Right.
as far as their quarterly gains or losses. But you need to go back a couple of years, even 2 or 3 years back into their different quarters, because for them to be making any money at all, IDW that is unbelievable because of all of the losses that they have chalked up over the last 2 or 3 years, and they have.
Well, yeah, in 2021 they lost 1.8. They lost 0.8 million. So that's what, $800,000. They lost 1.9 million in 2022. I mean, that's $1.1 million more in losses.
Oh wow.
That they had.
I don't know. Do you guys?
I have to ask.
That was Google Black Belt. They've cut out the massages altogether.
Yeah, dude.
I have a genuine question about companies like IDW because I have a theory I'm working on, and my theory is this: the comic market is really split between the mainstream and the independent, and I would love to see the proportion of their losses and a couple of the other companies of this size and scope, in the neighborhood, folks like 2000 AD, a few others, how they're doing, and see if their losses don't mirror the rise in crowdfunded comics. Because what I really wonder if what's happening is the pushback or the effect of we all as independent as comic readers only have so much money to spend on any given interest, and I think more and more people are going the true direct route and going through crowdfunding and the kind of people who would go and not be straight mainlined.
Okay, actually, I think the tendency is going towards the next victim of SJW shenanigans, which is manga.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a blessing, because if they focus on manga, because they're the guys who are making all the money, that leaves us alone to do whatever we want.
Right.
So yeah, I agree for manga, because then it's gonna be like, yeah, that chick looks 12-year-old. Why are those titties those big? Like, sorry, I said titties, but that's gonna be a problem for manga. Yeah,
you can't cancel the Japanese because they don't care.
Yeah, but they're gonna try.
What's gonna happen with mangas? We'll probably get more like bad localization. That's just gonna push people from dubs to subs anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So the only positive thing is that they're gonna focus on manga and leave us alone. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So in quarter 3, IDW switched from Diamond Distribution to Penguin Random House.
Okay.
All right.
But there had to be a reason for them to jump in the first place.
Right.
Which I'd like to know exactly why, because if Diamond was
speculate
serving their needs and making them money, they'd have stayed with Diamond instead of jumping with Penguin.
Well, Randy, we can speculate, and I think there's some reasons why we can speculate and have a reasonable idea of why. Okay, so in the last few weeks, we have covered stories about creators not getting paid and companies filing bankruptcy. And one of the things that they attribute to their lack of income is accounts non-received.
Yeah.
Well, where are those accounts from?
Yeah.
The only people they're selling to is the distributor, right?
Yep.
That's the account not received. Diamond isn't paying on time. We know that Diamond doesn't pay on time. They don't deliver on time. We've heard this over and over again. And because they were a monopoly, people just had to bend over and take it up the tailpipe.
But they only pass the buck from the top down. That's the problem. Is because the bigger accounts, the so-called mainstream accounts, always get serviced first.
Yeah.
And well, those secondary exclusive
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those secondary accounts then get served second, of which IDW.
That's what she said.
Of which IDW was one of them. They were exclusive to Diamond, if I'm not mistaken, before they jumped over to Penguin.
Well, and also we should point out that even those big accounts, they're late paying their creators, so they're obviously not, they're not very.
That money is not trickling down very far.
Exactly.
Or fast.
But I'm saying even Marvel, like people have complained and put out there that they're receiving their funds like months after the work is done.
It's running like molasses, guys.
Yeah.
So this is not even sloppy seconds. This is more like a human centipede.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
I hate that analogy. I know it fits, but
yeah, I know.
Ass to mouth. No, thank you. I'm sorry. I know it's
okay. Yeah.
It's okay.
I'm here to.
It may disgust you, but it's actually pretty accurate.
Yeah, Hojo, we're getting there. We're getting
One,
there.
wait, you're telling me Reaganomics don't work, and two, I mean, just trickle down theory. Yes, beautiful. I have there is a part of my mind that always goes, who profits from stupidity? And it's almost like the big guys are trying to do something, poison the well because they're mostly immune to it. Is what it feels like, because that Marvel could take a hit here and there and not really even bat an eye at it. DC could take a hit here and there. But if it messes up the chain enough, the little guys that they're competing with, nobody wants any competition anywhere.
Which might explain why IGG suddenly turned heel.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
I really think that what we're seeing
A little more.
Is you're seeing the shape of an action. And if you look at the outline of what's going on, the systems that support the little guys are getting the legs are being knocked out from under them.
Well, that's true about any platform, though. You go look at Amazon or YouTube. Anytime the little guys start making serious money, they go through and change the rules anyway, just to keep it.
Well, but that's exactly what I'm saying. Is I think
this happened with Diamond back in the '80s when they became the exclusive dog and started that green section.
It feels like to me if we can't get a proper monopoly, what do they call it? An oligopoly. Where two or three where the big companies just all meet up, they decide what the price is going to be, and they they destroy anybody who undercuts them or anybody who's not part of their system, and it's just going across the. This fits so well when you look at it from the perspective of the IRS is being inflated to have a whole bunch more agents so that they can target people making money on Etsy and small businesses and crowdfunding.
They're all in they're all in bed together. This is classic crony capitalism. You've got the government,
it really is,
and the elites just in bed with each other, man.
I do believe that budget on that has already been defunded, by the way.
Beautiful.
I do too.
So it was turned around second week after the swearing in.
All right, so here's part of the reason why they are spending more and making less. So inflation and printing cost had a big impact. The company reported a $626,000 increase. That wasn't the total cost. That was the increase from their printing cost the fiscal year prior. Increase in printing cost for the year, despite publishing fewer titles. They printed less pages and they spent more money, right? But what happens to the prices? The prices stay the same. So they're making less money. They're making less profit per book now.
This phenomenon is going on with these companies. We saw this with Twitter when Elon Musk kind of opened up and showed what was going on behind the scenes of Twitter. There's a massive buildup of redundancy in these companies.
Yep.
Where the people they come on board and then they suddenly turn around and hire all their friends, whether they're capable of doing anything or not, and give them nonsensical titles, and then build rumpus rooms and cafeterias and massage parlors and stuff.
It's
on site.
It's a Trojan horse.
Yeah, and basically they're expecting these companies to die, and they're just going to write it down, and it's like they don't have an investment in the future of any damn thing.
Can I just say though that I am surprised that even IDW is calculating their losses in the millions. Like millions. They're dealing with millions of dollars.
The thing is, Luke, they've been doing this for years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Preach,
You go back the last few years, 2 years at least before COVID hit, they were still claiming losses, large losses.
Yeah.
This has actually been a really good year for them.
And
because their losses haven't been as severe as they were in previous quarters.
And also remember, before doing good business was getting your hands on venture capital. That's gone now. So
well, they're still out there. There's still venture capital to be had out there. They say, and I don't know if it's in this press release or somewhere else. They said if they had another, 10 to 15 million, they could about break even on all of theirs.
Oh, poor babies.
Yeah,
and only 10 million.
They're still out looking for venture capital.
You can find that in the couch cushions.
Yeah, tell them to call.
Are you gonna
Elon Musk?
Are you covering the Skybound thing later, Luke?
Yeah. I hope to do that as well.
And I'll be quiet.
we'll get to the Skybound thing, yeah.
Because there's money out there. They're just fishing for it.
Yeah.
Now, what they don't say in this article is this quarter, their fourth quarter at the end of their fiscal year, ended at October 31st. Their next quarter covers November, December, and January. And as of January 1st, Hasbro pulled their two major licenses from them.
Oh, yeah.
They lost.
Oh, it's my favorite company in the world, damaging things I love yet again.
And they're
Thank
threatening
you,
the other.
Hasbro.
They're threatening all the rest of their licenses as well, but they're probably still under contract with them.
Yeah, Hasbro's really, man, they are screwing the pooch.
Yeah,
So here's the deal.
These big
really
corporations
They're
do
dealing
it
with.
every chance they get, as long as it makes their quarterly report look good. That's all that they're concerned about.
And see, the problem is they're making the same mistakes. It's funny. I'm in a lot of different geekdoms. What Hasbro's doing to D&D, they're making the same mistakes with what they're doing with Nerf. They're making the same mistakes here. I'm waiting to find out that Hasbro's going to try to do their comics. If they think they can make money, do it direct and completely butcher that up too, because all they want to do is get rid of anything physical, make it digital.
Yeah. Hasbro is going to start
very little money in for a lot of money out. That's all.
Right,
We're
and
going
as
to talk about digital here in a second. Okay.
Yeah, dude. Hasbro is going to start making their comic books in Panama. They're hiring me and a bunch of monkeys, and we're going to do a great job. They're going to pay us in chicken. Live
There you
chicken.
go.
Hey, getting paid in chickens anymore.
Well,
is really
you can
good.
sacrifice them for your
Expensive eggs
Santeria.
have gotten around here.
No. Here's the. I think that they're missing a market.
Do you draw the Flintstones naked? There's a market for that.
Yep.
I send 2 video files to you, and you just have to keep using them.
I love them, man. I love them. Randy is the best at finding the clips, man. He is the best. All right. So while the company had around $10 million in cash at the end of the period, in its annual report, the company said it may need to raise another $7 to $10 million to fund losses over the next couple of years. Wow.
Me too.
Yeah, exactly. I can
Hashtag me too.
I can use like $3 million and I'm set. So
you give me that
what's
much, I can give you a great comic company just on that money
So
alone.
here's somebody that needs some money.
Yeah, really needs money.
Oh man.
75 million. 75 million Skybound. Another article from the same people here. I'm gonna put that in the comments so that you guys can bookmark that and read through it a little bit better. I want to welcome all the new folks in the chat right now. Thanks for being here. We're trying to give you entertainment and news as best we can. And one of the things we're talking about now is Skybound. Skybound Entertainment, best known as the company behind The Walking Dead and Invincible, has begun a crowdfunding equity raise seeking up to $75 million from investors on investment platform Republic. The investment units in the LLC are based on pre-funding valuation of $500 million.
$500 million.
$500 million.
$1 billion.
So he's essentially raising money to go public.
Basically, yeah.
You know what? We have to go back to cash. Like this.
They would all collectively own 15% of the company.
Dude, oh no, man.
This is Kirkman's outfit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
If anybody can do it, he can.
Yeah.
He's the only one making money in comics right now.
I think so. He's making money on residuals.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Wow.
Well, one of the things. Here's one of the things that's being crowdfunded. Check this out. So, a limited edition foil poster from season 2 of Invincible, with a $2,500 investment to a red carpet experience in a future Skybound TV or film release, with a $2 million investment.
Only that.
Give us $2 million, we'll let you walk the red carpet.
You get
Come on.
You get the red carpet treatment, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Dude, with $200 and at the right side of Panama, I can get you the red carpet treatment right away. No problem.
Exactly.
$200, sir. Yeah.
And a rub and
They
tug.
have raised.
And a rub it. Yeah, and happy endings.
They have raised $9 million
all around. Yeah.
No, wow.
Why doesn't Kirkman just put up an OnlyFans?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Markiplier did.
Nobody wants to see
Markiplier's
that
got an
naked.
OnlyFans.
Mm-hmm.
He's killing it right now. Everybody wants to see. Yeah. So, what were you going to say about this Skybound thing, Randy?
Oh no, you're saying it just by reading the article.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all. I don't have to comment on nothing. You just
Here's what
form
they
your
need.
own opinion right there.
Here's what they need: 8.7 million for video game development, 9.07 million for strategic partnership for development of anime projects, 6.75 million for original TV production, 5.25 million for executive compensation.
Wow.
Yes.
Ding 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 ding.
Bonuses.
3.375 for investing in internal marketing capabilities.
That's a give me mine. Both of those.
That's
give me mine.
give me a slush fund.
Yep.
Don't just give me mine, but pay us 1.875 million to invest in lawyers.
Hey everybody! I guess you could call this a cash grab.
Lawyers and accountants.
It could be a cash grab, but so here's the deal with video games.
I think that name's already taken.
Yeah.
Okay. The deal with video games we know is not doing very, very good right now. We've been hearing a lot of that. The D&D game that Hasbro was working on, right? That Wizards was working on, they abandoned it because it wasn't projecting well.
Here's the problem, and people, and I love people, but they're freaking morons when it comes to sociology. If you look, and you're just a business guy, and you look at the numbers, and you look, look at these numbers. Look at home gaming skyrocketed in around 2020,
Right.
and that market's just screaming. Why is it falling off? We don't understand. You can't use the entertainment budget and spending habits of people who couldn't leave their homes to base your financial outlook on. That was an aberration. That was an outlier on the longer pattern. When you look at sales and stuff, these things happen. That was for most of the people, especially video game companies, 2020 was the equivalent of having a viral video as a YouTuber. Where you've only got 200 subscribers, but one video gets 30,000 viewers. And like, oh, see, I got 30,000 viewers. Yeah, I was the first guy who happened to be awake when the news that Stan Lee died hit. I have one video that went through the roof. I mean, if I lived there, I'd be high on the hog making bank.
It's like your video went viral because you got hit in the nuts.
Gonna quit my job. Being
But this corporation boards don't look at logic, man. They see we made this much money this year. We have to make this or more, or we're failing.
Right.
And that's the problem right now, is they don't see logic. Like, okay, if you capture a whole bunch of people playing role-playing games, a sector of it's going to stay. So your business grew, but it's not going to stay at the same level because people like the sun and going out and having sex. At least some.
They like those things, yeah.
Yeah.
Follow the logic here, though.
Just give me that 5.25 executive compensation. If you let me have it, I guarantee you a money-making IP farm that you will not believe. Within 3 years, I will have that making money for you like nobody's business.
Yeah, you will.
Let me have that executive compensation. I can do it. I know I can do it.
And I'll take care of the
Let's
red
follow
carpet.
the logic, though. Let's follow like the pattern, okay? Anytime there has been like a lot of money made in any arena, okay, gaming really exploded like in the early 2000s. Video gaming, just like new platforms came out, and suddenly it was a hot space, and it had a lot of cultural impact. Suddenly, young ladies like Zoe Quinn showed up and said, "Oh, we need, we need more women in this space," and so they flock to it. Suddenly there's all these activists that show up in these spaces, and the games just quality goes down.
Well, I don't even know if it's okay.
And then gaming kind of falls off, and then suddenly these MCU movies come out, and they have a lot of cultural clout, and then suddenly boom, they all congregate in the comic book companies, and the comic cuts are going down. And so now suddenly tabletop gaming takes off, and suddenly we find out these activists start talking about, oh, I was not allowed to play D&D when I was a young girl. And then
Yeah,
boom, boom,
Yeah, 'cause they
they
never
all
wanted to.
congregated.
They always
Type
put-
I mean,
Trust me, all the guys wanted you there.
Yeah,
Yes,
what,
yeah.
what, I am
sure
going.
did.
I'm going to
100%.
have to wade in because boy, are you using a single metric to determine a whole lot of things.
Telling you.
You can't.
can do it.
I will say this: money for Randy is always a good thing. Just I'll say that. Like, go fund Randy.
I promise you, an IP farm you will make money on. Seriously. And everybody
Fund
will
Randy.
turn this comic business around. I'm telling you. That's all I know.
But
Go ahead. Sorry.
I think Bunny's giving frankly too much power to the activists on a lot of things. I mean I hate to put it that way. For the gaming, it boomed because the 3.0 system with the original OGL created a new way to make game design accessible, and you want to look at spicy content. Some of the 3.0 licensed things were spicy because
Like
they,
spicy.
well, yeah, sometimes it's spicy for even this panel. I mean, the most
I'm saying
mellow
spicy
one that
sells,
I can
Nick. You know
reference
that.
here
Pedro?
that counts as they did the Book of Erotic Fantasy.
I'll
They
get
did a
you a
lot
happy
of
ending.
really weird,
Yep.
really weird things, and there were some
Well-
real d-bags who did some things.
So,
And
so
that's
but,
all.
to,
Sells,
give,
man.
but to give some credit for that book for just a moment, the book of erotic fantasy,
Rare fantasy, yeah.
it gave rules that didn't exist for the gestational period of elves. So you got to give
No,
some credit.
It also has a definitive STD list. How to
That's
Exactly.
what I always
Definitive
had.
a
STD.
brothel in
Sure.
games.
Yep.
But can
There
we
you-
find out if the thing's junk is made of rock too?
All right. Yeah.
Yes.
You set up those kind of rules
Brody
in D&D,
Bruce.
you'll give Balrog a whole different meaning.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Randy in with the win.
Hey-o. Yeah.
None shall pass.
Win.
Ding,
Oh my
ding,
gosh.
ding.
That's none shall piss.
Yeah.
Oh, you thought that was a flaming whip?
ladies and
No, he
Yeah,
just
like,
has.
you know,
Oh
like,
my
it,
gosh.
it burns where I be. Like, when you with a Balrog.
Yeah, that's fun. God, that was fun.
You shall not piss.
But
Named.
I want to play devil's advocate
gonorrhea.
because I do find this interesting. Excluding the obvious pork that has been just slathered all over this. If we cut away the pork to stick to the bacon, I love the idea of a smaller company relative trying to get in and establish a unified IP farm to kind of hold its own against the House of Mouse and stuff. And while these numbers are outrageous, and they are outrageous, we need to see more of these projects if we want to have any hope against the creativity monopoly
Right.
that the House of Mouse wants to form. Does that mean a bunch of shady, probably sexually challenged corporate types are going to make a lot of money because that's the only thing that can make them feel like they're happy? Sure.
No, but the thing is, like, I mean, the activist thing, on the point of the activist, I think they're the useful idiots. And we can see what they're trying to do with the D&D communities now. Because they're trying to use the same brute force of calling everybody's like inappropriate content and calling them Yahtzees and whatever. And it's not working because the D&D community is a close-knit group of nerds that's just like, hey, you know what? Screw D&D. And the thing is, like, the activist is the useful idiot to get rid of competition. Oh, you are not telling our marching orders? You're a Nazi. And they did that to Ethan. They did that to everybody in the comic book industry.
Well, see-
but since we are petty, jealous, and just like very individualistic as artists, nobody had a haven. No one.
That is the glory of the old school gamer.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't put this down like, lay the meat on the table, but I'm gonna here.
But you are. Let's see some baloney.
Yeah. Oh no. This
lay
this
the
is
meat
pure,
on the table, Nick.
The meat on the table is I got I got my butt whooped for being a D&D fan.
Yep.
You know, for being, I did survive that. I would never wish that on anybody
and then he
else.
picked up the sword.
But you know, I did pick up a lot of my more elaborate skills because I played D&D, and I'm like, I'd like to learn how to do that because that's the way my mind works.
Oh, I thought it was to combat the bullies, so that next time it's like, yeah, you want to go? Here's a falchion.
That's part of it. I'm not gonna lie. That is part of why I went into studying Western martial arts. The phrase "never again" does resonate with me a little more than maybe it should. But in the case of this, what are you gonna do? Cancel a bunch of geeks? Oh no, we're not popular. I am not afraid of not being popular. No. I'm not afraid of them saying, "Well, this game edition doesn't work. We're going to a new one." I've been playing out of the same book when I'm in the right mood since 1989. I do not fear you on this. You know, there will always be the core base, because there are two forms of gamers. There's the more modern, mainstream, we buy the module of the latest system, we keep up, and it's all well and good. And there are people who it's like, I've learned this. You take away my games, I will make more. And don't mess with me. I'll make it free, literally just to mess with everybody else. I am fully capable of making free systems and putting them out solely to annoy the powers that be. Do not tempt my spite.
I'm the trash man. I come out, I throw trash all over the ring.
Dude, I will challenge. Daddy DeVito might be my Patronus these days. I am not. You know, I am a short, fat man.
Show the other one with the guns.
Okay, it's gonna let me cool. I
will go out and buy some more.
Okay.
And I think you should too.
Abso-fraggin-lutely. Educate yourself, arm yourself. Anyway, but
dice-wise, Nick's very well endowed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He has them die 20s.
He's got a +2. You wouldn't believe, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I got a kid. I proved everything works. But
5.25 million
well,
for executive compensation.
But
I don't know if they wanted money or they wanted something more sexual.
Hey, that's why. See, I have to admit, I came in today expecting that we were going to discuss about a list of the top 10, or our
hottest,
favorite attractive women in independent comics.
Characters,
You know,
yeah.
the hottest characters.
Well, the list,
And,
the list.
What, Executive Assistant Isis, I believe was her name, was a great title, and it fits that.
I'm going to tell you what. We'll talk about that soon. But how does Perfect 10 not win every time? She's a Perfect 10. I think Chlorine comes close.
I don't know. American Bliss says give her a run for the money.
Oh yeah, American Bliss is pretty hot too.
Is.
Oh yeah, I call her Liberty.
Liberty.
I salute that flag, baby.
You know what? I think we need to take whatever the Mermaid's real name is going to be, because I'm going to tell you that redheaded mermaid with the chain gun and with the Vulcan cannon hits many of my buttons, and I have no.
That's what she said.
we don't need to know of your buttons, Nick.
Yeah, dude. Let's get this a button free. Let's get this a button free.
Oh, come on. If redheads with large caliber weapons don't make you a little excited, are you a man?
Are you human, sir?
I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
There you go. There you go.
It's a rib tick over there.
Yes. I'm sorry. She's way up there in some of the character designs I've seen.
So, Bleeding. Why is this not
Trader for the win?
R13L.
Yeah.
Yep. Ariel, but proper.
Yeah.
Yep.
Marvel Digital app not updating in wake of Comixology layoffs. Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Yeah. Who would have thought? Yes.
Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah.
Who knew?
Well,
I'm not.
But here's the thing:
We
this
got
is not
one guy left to make sure the lights stay on. Then after that,
But
no
this
thing
it
gets
actually
done.
isn't true.
No.
Yeah. For some reason,
Well, it's bleeding
this
cool. How can
window
you trust
is this window is having an issue.
It's loading
Wow.
all of the thousands of ads that slaughter
Bleeding
our
cool.
site.
Or it's the lack of
Oh,
ads
God.
because Google ads fired a whole bunch of people. I'm sorry, laid off a whole bunch of people too.
I
so
I
That's what you
can't
get
like
for pulling out
the
their
web
massages.
page doesn't even want to load.
that is
That's gotta
Like,
be.
like
It's
look at
gotta
this.
be what
My
it is.
cursor's
Bleeding
moving.
cool is
I
like the
cannot get
worst.
this thing to work.
Bleeding Fool has covered it.
You have to
maybe.
inoculate your computer.
No,
just
they
to
have
click
not.
on it.
Here's why they didn't cover it. Because I know someone, we know someone on the inside. They were actually having the same problems that we're having with Fund My Comic. They were switching over systems and they ran into some issues. There you go. It's just let's just get rid of that one because it won't even run it. So we'll move on to this next one. But they were covering something that wasn't even accurate, wasn't even real.
So
It wasn't the case.
So here's a boilerplate for everyone. What we're about to go into. Oh, are we going into that? What you just flashed on the screen?
Well, we can talk about we can keep talking about the problem with the digital.
Okay.
But the truth that I think we have here with digital comics is that they're not selling the way that they're a great supplement. And
Right.
Nick talking about does Hasbro want to make everything digital? Well, do they want to take over their own comics and make their own comics or their own IPs and make them digital?
Right.
People
Don't
like
want it.
digital comics to an extent, but they don't collect digital comics.
Right.
You can't see them because my camera angle changed. But I've got like 10 long boxes back here or something like that,
Yeah.
full of comics.
Mm-hmm.
They're not digital, they're physical because I collect physical comics. There's nothing like grabbing a book and smelling it and feeling it.
Stan Lee said it right, and I'm going to be vaguely base here, but I'm quoting Stan the Man, so come at it. Comics are like boobs. You like seeing them on a screen, but there's nothing like having the real thing in hand.
Right.
And that is a sexist to some folks, whatever. But there's a real simple truth there. Now, see, I have a different beef with digital comics that's come up because of what's gone on in D&D. That just hit me, and it's kind of scary. D&D Beyond, you don't get to keep the books you download. You don't own really. It's not like you can share them out. You can move them around. It's sort of like a rental, which is what they want in software. Mm-hmm. Why do they want that? Because if you want to retroactively cancel an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, this is my librarian coming out. I don't like censorship. And it's like, occasionally T-Bunny and I will have huge sparring sessions verbally.
Oh, they're
but
fun
I
too.
would fight and put my life on the line to make sure he has the right
To say what
to say things that are completely wrong in Balderdash. Because I love it. But,
and vice versa. And vice versa, I'm sure.
Yeah. And vice versa. And that's
why-
called respect.
That's
But
why
see-
I signed on that dotted line back in the summer of 1999. I laid my life aside to serve my country for whatever it's worth now, to be able to defend a certain sense of freedom because and all that.
Oh no, that is absolutely heroic, and I'm gonna get real patriotic for American a bit, and if that offends, that is okay. But only 2 people died for you. Jesus Christ and the American soldier servicemen. They died so that you can live, and I respect that. The only reason I'm not among you is they didn't want me. I'm too gimpy. I offered to sign. I tried to sign on the line, and they're like, "Your check bounced, brother. Sorry."
You got Bunny feeling patriotic. He's giving you a soundtrack for your speech, man. It's Bunny
it's
beautiful. Bunny
America.
is patriotic. He's America.
But so what I'm trying to say is that people I use the veteran example because that's That's one that I can, say, hey,
It's your experience.
I set myself aside for you to be able to say what you want to say. Now, regardless of the pretense of why I set myself aside and how society has, caused different wars and this and that is beside the point. It's the fact that I believed at the time that I was serving you, Nick, and you, Bunny, to allow you to say what you want in this country of ours.
And I truly thank you. I have worked tirelessly to support veterans, and it's why I am so infuriated by the fact that 22 a day are lost.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so please support veterans. Reach out to them. There are a lot of programs.
But part of my goal in 2023 is to do more for veterans and get comic books in their hands.
I love that.
And through that, raise money for support for veterans dealing with depression, because the suicide rate among veterans is too damn high. We cannot keep it this way.
Very high.
We cannot have it anymore, folks. We cannot.
Absolutely.
And it's okay. Back to the topic.
But back to the comics.
One last thing. As somebody who has not been serviced by the U.S. Army but been shot at by the U.S. Army.
Yeah.
In '99. It's not fair what's happening to that veterans. Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
It's not fair what's
That's
happening.
right, folks.
Yeah.
That's respect.
It's not fair how you're treating the guy that shot at Pedro. It's not fair.
Exactly. It's not fair.
And that's the thing. Like, and it's not fair that I, blindly decided to follow the regime to be a part of a system that would have done such a thing to you.
No, but okay. Just for us to be clear.
Well, I'm glad marksmanship has fallen off, Pedro.
I don't condemn the invasion of Panama. It was necessary. Okay? Noriega was out of control. Now, Noriega was propped up by George Bush Sr. when he was head of the CIA.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like your mess. Do I blame Americans for that? No, I blame George Bush Sr. Like, your boogeymen need to have a face, guys.
Yep.
And that's why information is so important. That's why we need to know who's our enemy.
100%.
It can't just be us and them, because it's not just us and them. That's what they want. They want to divide us, like what Nick's talking about, is that they want to go and they want to retroactively erase ideas and information.
As long as it's
the
not
book burning
physical,
that Alexander
they can do
did.
that.
And
that's the scary thing.
Winston Smith from 1984 textbook.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, it's the book. It's the burning of libraries that the
Fahrenheit 51.
Fahrenheit 51. Ray Bradbury.
Brain fart.
Yeah.
Genghis Khan.
Oh yeah,
It's the burning of the libraries. It's the burning of the museums.
Yeah,
it is the sacking of these places, so that cultures and ideas and thoughts cannot be shared, or history cannot be remembered.
Right.
It's vital that we have platforms and that we're doing things where censorship is eradicated.
The Klaus Schwab, the WEF, at their Davos conference that just wrapped up, he even said that we need a new history. We want to write a new history.
New history.
It's going to happen again, just like
what happened to the real history?
World War II. You know, the quote
Smithsonian
winners are going to write a history that we're going to be taught in schools, and people won't even remember anything about this current generation and the few generations removed.
Regardless of how you feel about the January 6th thing, okay? Regardless of how you feel about that, whoever won that would have written the narrative about that story.
Yeah.
That's just the truth, right? And they did. They wrote the narrative about that. You know, if the other ones would have won, they'd have wrote a narrative about that. But that's what happens a lot, and so we're kind of off topic there, but
so let's go back.
We need to speak truth.
If our media is all in digital, what it means is the history can be erased instantly, altered, and denied.
And you'll be happy about it.
Yep.
And you'll be happy about it.
Happy think. Happy think. Good think. You know, not proof, not facts.
We already know that our governments, not government, governments worldwide, are preparing for global outages of technology and information.
Yep.
They're preparing for the internet to go down. We know there's been solar flares that have weakened some of our systems.
All right,
And if
baby.
one bad solar storm happens and sends a solar flare in our direction, our internet could go down, which means no power, which means no banking, which means no communication. It would create anarchy. Because we saw what happened with the toilet paper when people thought that they weren't going to be able to wipe their butts for a few weeks.
I had to cut a bitch over my Charmin. Sorry.
God, don't say. I was about to say something, to pull us back on topic, but I gotta say this: those bears in those commercials, those anal-obsessed toilet paper bears, creep the living heck out of me. Like on a level,
As well
like
they should.
Look, my butt is clean. I don't need to know that, you weird cartoon bear. Good for. I mean, all right.
That goes back to the old. That goes.
What a story, Mark.
That goes back to the old questions about bears in the woods.
Yeah.
That's where that springs from.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know that one, and I've seen bears in the woods. Spoiler: they poop.
That's so true, Russ. He said we started out as Marty McFly, but ended up like Snake Plissken.
Yeah.
My goal is to stay right in the Jack Burton safe zone. I don't want to be any crankier than old Jack coming at you over the airwaves, because I don't know everything and I haven't seen everything, but I've seen a lot, and I can tell you we're not alone out here in this universe.
Well, I'd say here's the thing that I've noticed
have
today.
you paid your dues, Jack? Yes, sir.
Nick woke up today and chose violence.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bang!
Nick woke up and chose violence today, and I like.
I have, and I've actually calmed down significantly. What? Because I'm live. See, Buddy's nodding.
Yeah. So, what the viewers don't know.
I got teeth marks for a reason. There you go.
But Bunny comes in, and Bunny knows that he and Nick disagree on a lot of things. It's kind of like how me and James Rock disagree on a lot of things, and it's just a back and forth on things, and it's fun for people that are smart and don't take it personal and know, hey, I can like you and respect you and not agree with you, right? So the first thing that Bunny does is he changes his little name down there to Nick's Bane. And Nick comes in and sees that and goes on this tirade and said some of the greatest Nickisms I've ever heard. Yep. And he said, you're so full of crap that your eyes are turning brown. I about lost it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a fun Thursday, guys.
My eyes are actually hazel. Just for FYI.
I'm going to be using that one now. Nick doesn't know it, but I'm looking for an opportunity to be like, you're so full of crap, your eyes are turning brown. I cannot wait to say that in the
Let's
wild.
look at this Indiegogo campaign.
Speaking of full of crap, look at this. All right, now here's the deal.
Oh, man.
With this thing. I'm going to, that's my catchphrase. I think here's the deal is my catchphrase.
Yeah.
I should do shorts called Here's the Deal. And it's just me complaining about crap.
Okay.
Should make a little opening bumper for that. And just
I thought you were going to do like burnt bacon.
All right.
Well,
so
yeah, I'm going to do a lot of
Burns
things.
my
when I have
biscuits.
time.
Burns my biscuits, because I've dropped that line in anger.
All right. So here's
Burnt
my
bacon's still pretty good, though.
a boilerplate for this particular page. This Indiegogo. We are by no means, I guess I have to speak for myself, but we are by no means advocating that anyone back or buy or do any.
Thank you.
With this AI.
I was actually going
This
to...
is not a promotion.
No.
You know what, Luke? Can you take it just a second and type into the scroll? I'm stone serious.
Do not
Because
back this.
people should know about the Nerd
Exactly
Head
what you
Order
think,
by
Russ.
now. Set up
AI.
a banner that we do not condone this or AI. We are only saying this as a
informational purposes only.
Yeah, because it's out there. Because good lord, is this drivel. Now, in fairness, depicted at least in the thumbnail is a very attractive black lady.
Sure.
So I want to clarify that we also have no problem with the fact that it seems to highlight
People of color.
black folks.
We like black folks.
I like black folks. I like everybody.
I like everybody, yeah. I think everybody.
I even like T-Bunny, even though we go at it.
Right,
But
that's funny.
I'm not going to say anything.
Pedro.
What you just did.
Hey, Pedro. Pedro's black. You're black, Pedro?
Yeah.
We actually did that. I actually did that. I actually did that with
Pedro's
Aaron Jordan.
just really tan. Just really
Yeah, exactly. I'm just
So
a
my-
very tan Italian.
very tan.
My friend Aaron Jordan. My friend
Hangs
Aaron
out
Jordan.
with Lee Van Cleef. Anyway.
Yeah.
My friend Aaron Jordan, who is probably in the chat, he is a fantastic creative mind. Probably one of the most creative indie creators I have run across in probably the last decade.
Oh yeah.
No argument here.
He is brilliant. He's normally behind an avatar, and I remember the first time I was on stream and he turns off his avatar, and I was like, "You're black?" Because I don't really care about a person's race or color or gender or sexuality or religion. I care about their heart and their mind, like their character. Who are they?
Yep.
And I, you know, and I think most of us in this space are that way. There's a few a-holes, and we've met them.
Well, my man Ken B turned out to be black, and I was like, cool.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't know he was black.
I mean, but he's cool as heck, man.
Right.
Like,
The
he
only
is cool
reason
as
why
hell,
I
man.
know that he is, and the only reason why I care, is because somebody called him a white supremacist.
Yeah.
And he laughed.
Yeah.
They're like, "You're a white supremacist," and he's like, and so he's like, "Time for a face reveal."
Time for a face reveal.
Dude, okay.
Oh,
so I have
and
something to
also-
say. I have something to say about this. And dude, I cede my point to the honorable deceased George Carlin. There's only two ways to be black. You happen to be black, or you're openly black. Okay.
Yeah.
When you happen to be black, you're Colin Powell.
Yeah.
Yep.
When you're James Brown, you're openly black.
Yeah.
That's the only difference I see. And the thing is, like, yeah, sometimes I happen to be black because I don't adhere to all the aspects of the culture. For example, I hate rap.
Yeah.
And people look at me like I'm just from Mars. Like, you don't like rap? You don't like Tupac? Like, no, I
You know
don't.
what's funny about rap?
Yeah. I don't like DJs. It's not my thing. Like, to
Well,
me,
the best
like,
rapper in America right now is a white Canadian guy named Tom McDonald.
yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
God bless them. God bless them. Like, that's the thing.
Freaking
Like,
Canadians.
yeah.
Freaking
God bless them.
Canadians.
Like, I don't
Where's
see it
Craig
as
He's
at?
an
that.
American citizen now.
Love you,
Where's my
Craig.
friend Craig at? Where's Craig? Freaking Canadians.
I go
Hey.
all the way up to not seeing that as a talent. So you can
you
rap, so yeah, you can talk
I
and
like,
rhyme.
I
Awesome.
like rap.
You know what? Combative poetry has gone on since the ages.
Yeah.
I see. I it's funny because I respect rap when it's done right.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
But I
I'm
will
actually a fan.
as combative poetry, like an actual rap battle face to face where you're trying to destroy each other
Did I
at high
misspell
speed.
condone?
That is skills. But mumble rappers need to
No.
just
Go
take
away.
some like speech therapy or something. And learn to enunciate, because I'm sorry, I know auctioneers, so I don't tolerate people who can't.
That goes across.
I love the
Technically,
flow.
now you're a racist because you said that they need to enunciate properly.
Yeah, exactly.
No, there's white people that do that mumble rap too.
You're living on it, even on.
Oh no, because I know there are white mumble rappers too, and they're just as obnoxious.
I like that flow of. I'm telling you, Snoop is one of my favorites. I love that flow, man. They're like, yo, that real laid back, yo.
Well,
That's Snoop
Tom
Dogg, yo.
McDonald
I love that.
actually wrote a for his girlfriend. He wrote her a love song called "Ghost," and
Really
and
good song.
because they were busy gatekeeping him out of the rap and hip hop space, he went after him in the pop space, which is actually bigger market share, and got a #1 hit out of it.
Yeah, very good
And
song.
so we're talking about somebody who is gaming the system as an
Tom
independent,
McDonald.
a true
I
independent.
like Tom McDonald. My daughter had me listen to NF. I like his stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have to take them in small doses. Though.
So the point that Nick was trying to make before we went circled off into chaos again is we do not care that this features people of color. We actually that has nothing to do with this.
It's a cool
What we
feature.
have a problem with
I don't
is
know.
this right here. Let me.
I kind of do.
Can I zoom in on this?
It's making us look like we're lazy. Like we
AI
have to
generated. AI generated.
Sorry, guys.
And if you're AI generating it, make it more than 28 pages.
Wow.
You got your art for free. Come on.
Exactly.
See what I mean?
Exactly.
Man, I mean, it's not bad enough to steal it, but you can't even fence stolen goods at a fair deal. Good Lord.
Yeah. Give us the Golden Corral version here.
Yeah.
So let me give you
way you can.
Let me give you the full story on that. Okay? So I guess it was last night. I was working on my campaign, trying to get it up and going. Just because Fund My Comic is not going to meet up with my deadline.
Probably not. No.
It doesn't, doesn't seem so. So I'm just making a move. And as I log in, it says and I even threw a screenshot into our Facebook group. Recommended for you, right? And so it just hit me. I'm like, okay, so it's recommending that I buy this AI.
Wait. What the heck?
Just hold on. I know you want to talk about
it.
So the thing is, it's going to recommend this to me, and then I'm looking around and it's shadow banning and just straight, almost like striking people like Eric Weathers, which I don't even know what happened with Eric Weathers' Battle Brick Road 2, but I saw his tweet where Indiegogo apparently gave him the bird on that one for whatever reason. So it's kind of like, no.
They nailed Frog G. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The folks
You're right.
poke with, but like how?
You're right. Exactly. So they nail these colleagues and friends of mine, and then they do this and they recommend this to me instead of those kind of campaign. Like I'm just.
Well, it's you have to understand there is a system that wants to replace creatives because creatives.
The second thing, just real quick.
Okay, sorry.
The second thing, Luke, if you can scroll up and see where they are in their funding goal. Okay, it was right there last night, $27.
Good. That's $27 too much.
One backer.
Yeah, and you can see it says 60 days left. So it just started yesterday, and
they're asking for $1,500 for what?
Yeah, they don't have to pay artists.
Printing cost, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, dude. This is just looks soulless.
Exactly.
Well, even if they're lazy about generating
they're not
their
even
art,
using the artwork and making a good layout. There's so many problems going there with.
Yeah.
Your color spaces are conflicting.
It's so subpar on every level.
Yeah.
Look, even Bancroft can draw better hands than that.
Yep. I mean, that.
Love you, Michael.
Shots fired.
And he draws a hand that looks like that.
He knows.
Come on.
Just teasing.
It's part of the lore already.
Look. Yeah. His hands are accurate. Bunny, show that again. Hold on a second. I'm gonna make you bigger here. Show that. It's accurate.
Yeah.
There you go.
You got it. Yeah.
See, there are hands that are like the hand that Bancroft drew. See?
It's like root.
The ginger root, yeah.
I'm glad we can just.
Ginger root does exist. Yeah.
I'm glad we can just.
I will say this: looking at it,
Love you,
it's
buddy.
much more expressive than how John Malin draws. So.
Oh.
Heyo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Agreed.
Hoorah.
This is that's
We still
spicy
love you, John,
bacon.
right?
I like it.
That was a spicy meatball right there.
AJ puts out better than this out of the course of the ugly.
But I think what bothers me the most is the photographer or the artist, the original artist of this piece. It is likely not getting any credit.
Well, the piece says that it was robbed from.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what? I'm going to say this.
That's why DeviantArt has got a lawsuit against them, because the database that Midjourney uses farmed a lot of the images from DeviantArt, and DeviantArt didn't do anything about it. So every time an artist put their art up there, like Nick, their art is
I've
being
been up
farmed.
there going on 20 years. I've been on DA. I am now a paid subscriber, in part because I was worried they were going to start taking down stuff, and I wanted to be there long enough to get my, I'm nearing 1,000 images over 20 years.
So
I'm very close to my 1,000th submission.
Why not port over to ArtStation, or do you have one of those too?
I don't yet. It's one of those I have to.
I think it's a better deal. You can
look
actually
into
sell it.
things.
There is so much AI art on DeviantArt
Hello,
now.
Kelly
Like, every
Huntsman.
time I open up my watch list, it's just flooded with like AI.
I don't know, dude. This is the time for being a curmudgeon works. When they told me about DeviantArt 20 years ago, I thought this is a stupid idea, so I never joined. And now I'm happy.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at these. Look at these. Yeah, I never liked Deviant. Whenever anyone gives me a DeviantArt link to go look at their art, I just ignore it because I cannot stand. The site is glitchy. There's always ads popping up. I can't stand it. I cannot stand it.
Yeah, unless you pay for it, it's a terrible experience.
Yeah.
Hands are hard. Hashtag hands are hard.
Hands are hard.
Hands are hard. But I want to say something that might shock some folks. My friend of mine, associate, Jody McPhee, does DAZ 3. One of his comic titles is done entirely in DAZ 3D, a poster kind of thing. It looks. I'm not gonna lie and say it doesn't look like a very dated style. I mean, it's very dated in his layout, but I respect that 1,010% more than this cowardly thieving drivel.
I'm gonna guess that this is the signed sketch cover.
Yes.
I'm gonna guess this is what the artist can really accomplish.
Look at that.
I mean, we can make fun of it now, but give it 5 more years of development, and we won't even be able to tell anymore.
Yeah, and that's the nightmare because
this is a skill, man.
I mean, I hate to say, you know how they're not paying artists, and we're all upset they're not paying artists. They're developing AI art so they don't have to pay artists. That's what this is. Bottom line.
This is the first
it
book.
It isn't just making it easier. It isn't just making it nicer. It isn't just accessibility. Normally, for all these things, that this AI drivel is so that the business folks don't have to deal with those annoying creatives, and they can just crank out whatever they want, however they want, and not pay people. And I really think part of the reason they're holding off on paying artists is let them starve, because we can replace them with technology in 5 to 10 years minimum.
So guess what? I think they're cutting off their nose to spite their face, and in the end, they are laying the foundation for our parallel economy, because we're just going to say, okay, you can have your legion of Borg, mindset people who slovenly, plug into your internet while we go back out there and build our own BBSs. We'll start over. We're going to bring back modems and just start it all over again.
Yeah, dude. They think we're just gonna lay down and die, which is funny.
No, we're gonna create our own spaces in real life and let the whack jobs live in their fantasy reality.
It's why we're building our own crowdfunding.
Yep.
There will never be an AI project on Fund My Comic. I'll promise you that.
That's something to gatekeep, actually.
If we ever find out about it, the permaban. I mean, hello.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't, and
wait, can we laugh though that the only comment is somebody trying to shill how to do better?
Yeah.
I mean, that's funny.
Probably a bot that did that.
So, and a bot is commenting on AI generated.
This is for
If it were actually AI, I would respect it more. But the only thing is photo bashing. It's just image. There's no understanding of the depth or the reasoning.
Oh my God!
Is that even real?
Oh my God!
And childhoods.
Is that not? That's photoshopped, right? That can't be real.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were showing that.
What in the blood-soaked Protestant heck is that?
I put this in the green room when we were talking about IDW. It is definitely real. I took it myself. at a show she was at, and she loves it.
Wow. Destroyer of words
This
and
is
childhoods.
intentional. Yes.
Oh my gosh,
Hey,
man!
you
if that
know what?
doesn't say
Hate
something.
makes money, guys. It's easy to make money not building anything, and I'm really
Barrett,
glad
while she was a chief editor at IDW,
This
they
is the
put out a
backdrop.
comic with her on the cover that was called Arple O'Neil.
Arple. Yep.
Arple
Remember that.
O'Neil.
Arple O'Neil.
This is
Remember
the
that.
backdrop she takes with her to the shows.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
God bless her.
so now we need that little thing where Johnny Depp, is dressed up as Black Sparrow, Jack Sparrow, and he has his little compass, and he says, "We have our heading." It's like as soon as we see this about Heather Antos, he's like, "We have our heading."
You know what? Okay.
No exaggeration.
Guys,
no
can we
touch
take
up,
this
no
image
nothing.
down real quick? Take this image down. No. And the reason I'm saying that is we've acknowledged her, and there's a temptation to wade in it. That's what that kind of creature wants.
Well, and
That's
and
very
Yes,
true.
it is.
and,
It is.
and
I just give them a number 7 and move
coming
on.
in here and
Yeah, well,
I'd give him a number
that's
5.
cute.
I'd give him
I
a number
didn't-
5.
But one thing I think we as a responsive, the culture of the internet show, because most of us do programs, we have to acknowledge problems without giving too much. Don't
Airtime?
give them the free space.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
a
we
lot of
need it.
times, I keep coming back to this. I want to know what new comics Randy has out far more than I want to. I've never heard that woman's name, and I am doing my level best to
You're
forget
doing a
it
good job, yeah.
because I don't need to know that woman's name because she is irrelevant, and
You
that is
really
the
don't.
worst thing you can do. There is a universe of people who have made somehow the self-replicating drivel of being famous for being famous. And the best thing you can do to slay that machine is
dude.
ignore them. They can't process that because it's like that that horrible Velma show that came out.
Oh, yeah. No.
All the views it has are people hate watching it.
Yeah.
They either
That's
try
another
and
tool.
trash it, or they're hate watching it.
I love it.
complain
What's
about
the point in giving money to these people, right?
Yeah, dude. I mean,
That's why.
they
That's
were-
why I
they're
tell you,
famous
if you
for
hate my
being
book, that's
famous.
fine.
Canceled ours
You know
even
what?
before that
It's-
came out. We canceled
A,
ours.
It's worse.
a burnt book is a bought book.
Yeah,
Done,
dude.
done.
Yeah, you're giving time.
You're not
'Cause what I
entertained.
don't get is time. I can make more money. It
Exactly.
may not be
Okay.
much.
In my book, in my book,
Yeah.
if you're famous for being famous and you don't have the decency to have a sex tape, get out of my face. That's all.
Oh, Pedro, I love you.
Is this the
You have
point,
no
point
use in
where
society.
you're
in
lighting
Pedro's
the
world
candle
if
for
you don't at
Paris
least have a
Hilton's
sex
career?
tape. Or an OnlyFans.
Yeah, exactly.
Give
Give the
knowledge.
world something.
No, the truth in this is that we allow these people to live rent free in our heads.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true. You're absolutely right.
So,
I don't.
Just
no,
mark
you
them.
don't.
Move
Some
on.
people do. Here's what I want to talk about for a little bit.
Okay.
Is we need to start establishing our own brands. Okay.
Yes.
Without
With
sex tape.
with the event that just recently happened with EVS winning the trademark of Comicsgate, right?
Yep.
I've been aligned with the fans based on their ideas around political narratives being forced, talentless people getting jobs because they click off certain criteria, and the disrespect to the fans, right? I will never leave the fans. I'm with you. But as an individual who is starting a truly neutral crowdfunding platform and who's trying to build a number of IPs, I'm no longer going to associate my brand with the CG brand.
Okay,
Because it's time for me
remember
to
I
grow
said
up.
that File 13 was hilarious. I gotta play it.
I'll be releasing my sex tape this week. It's called Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done. Yeah.
Played,
So I'm no longer going to be using. I'm not leaving the fans. I'm not leaving the reasons for being there. The CG folks, they were great support while I was sick. Those people that were in that camp, but many of the people that I am associated with, they're not EVS. They're not the war campaign folks that make people hate that brand. It's not. They're individuals, and I work with them not because they happen to align with a certain ideology, but because they were really good quality people to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Their brand deserves to be built.
Yes.
And it's Ethan's job now to build his brand and to build the Comicsgate brand. It's not my job to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's my job to focus on Luke Stone Studios and Arrow Comics. So let this be the initial. I'm not anti anything, guys. Okay? But I'm not going to be using the hashtag. I'm just not, because I think that with what's happening with IDW, who built their careers on licensing somebody else's intellectual property.
Yep.
Someone else's name and brand.
Yep.
They've built that up on. We've got Hasbro that is taking what other people have built.
Yep.
And they're trying to build their brand, take it away so they can establish their brand.
Yep.
Disney's establishing their brand. Skybound is wanting to establish their brand. Not to be Image anymore.
Yep.
Kirkman wants to be his brand.
Yes, he does.
Gosh, guys.
Deserves it.
We've got to do that. We've got to start focusing on building up who we are.
Yes.
And building our thing. My focus is going to be on Luke Stone Studios, Arrow Comics, and Lockdown Games. That's
And
our brand.
Fund My
Crack-a-Boom Coffee. FundMyComic.com. Those are the brands that I've got to build. If we're out trying to hold a banner for everybody else, and we're trying to stand up for Hasbro, and we're trying to stand up for Marvel and DC and IDW, because we feel like maybe those brands one day will give us a hand up, or they will just somehow miraculously say, you know what, you've been such a champion, I'm going to help you out. And you know what, if they do, that's great, good for you. You know, EVS has got some benevolence, he really does.
Yeah.
He helps out a lot of people, whether people want to agree to that or not. And I hope he watches this and knows that I'm appreciative of what he does for people in the community and for that movement. I am. And I know he's going to continue to do that.
Yeah.
But
it's not even EVS's fault. It's just the thing that some people come with this Tiny Tim mentality, like, please, can I have some more? And stop it. You have two arms. You have a brain. Build yourself up.
A lot of people talk about Iconic Comics because Iconic Comics stepped away to do their own thing. Now they got into a stupid internet battle, and it became more about wanting blood. Here's the thing. EVS doesn't have to fail for me to succeed. Exactly. Marvel doesn't have to fail for me to succeed.
100%.
I can succeed because I've worked my butt off to get there.
Absolutely.
You can succeed because you've worked your butt off to get there. The only person that gatekeeps you is you.
Yep.
And if somebody is closing the door, break down a hole and go through it. Or build yourself your own castle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Plain and simple, guys.
Exactly.
And I think that's what we need to do. I think that's what indie comics and indie games needs to do. Right now, 2023, we've got to start thinking differently. We've got to start working differently. So if everyone's like, oh, Luke, that's that CG guy, that CG simp. I'm not a CG simp. And I'm not like, oh, Luke went anti. No, Luke didn't go anti anything. Luke is pro me and my collaborators. That's who Luke is pro.
Well,
if you're in my circle, then I'm going to work to build you up.
If you want to build something that's going to outlive you, you can't limit yourself to catering to one community or another. It's got to be big 100%. Enough that the general public, the normies, are going for it. That's always kind of been my thing with Dinosaur Man, is like, this is a brand that I'm building to try to create something that kids, young boys, don't have anymore.
Yeah.
The Optimus Prime today is not the Optimus Prime I grew up with that gave me some sense of morals and values, you know, those awesome PSAs at the end. It was always wholesome, build you up content, something for you to look forward to.
Dinosaur Man is a great IP.
Now it's just, they just give kids shit that's, you know, ADHD, you know, spit up, and it's just, there's no substance there. So that's what I want to do with Dinosaur Man, is give something substance. So that if a little bit has a shit father, no family, at least could have that cartoon, that toy, something to anchor to, because that's a lot of reason why I turned out better than I should be, because I had a really great grandfather, and I had those Saturday morning cartoons, that world I got lost into.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
You're here.
Joe PSAs, man. Oh.
Yeah.
Well-
So pour one out for bad childhoods.
Yeah.
Amen.
I'm gonna say one more thing now. On top of that, the reason why we need to build our brands is because it can't be us catering to the same crowd all the time. The sales numbers are going down.
Yeah.
We have to find new readers. We have to branch out outside. If all you're selling your book on is your race, your gender, your sexuality, or your political ideology, you are failing yourself and the medium. Comics has always transcended those things.
Yes.
It has been a free flow of ideas to people. I do not have to agree with you to like you and respect you. I don't even have to like you to work with you. If I trust you, I will work with you. Right? But if you're untrustworthy, I won't. Because at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is put, and all my comics are packed up, but we're trying to put comics into the hands of people that have not found the love of that medium yet. Yes. And give them something to be passionate about and to be in love with. The Dinosaur Mans that can speak to young boys and be the G.I. Joes and Optimus Primes that they need. The public what's the name of your book, Bunny? Your public service or
Community
whatever?
service.
Community service. The patriotic, old patriotic guy that can be the Uncle Sam that they're not getting right now.
Yep, right there.
You know? Hero Bot Zero, that entertainment that they need. Scratch, that blue collar bionic werewolf. You know? Tropical Magic, just that fun, goofy books, man. I'm telling you. You know, hybrids and the games that we're building to be the stuff that we're missing out on. That's why we're doing it anyway.
And
we're not,
if we don't do it, who's gonna?
Right.
Because it ain't coming out of the big companies right now.
And they won't.
At all.
I am not doing
well,
what I'm doing to
when you
take
look
it
at
to
the
the well.
beginning,
Ever again.
when you look at where it all started, okay, and I think modern comics, most people will say it started when Stan Lee had an idea to take comics and make them like accessible to the ordinary man, because Superman had a certain distance between persons and
there's a beautiful long history there that you're missing, T-Bunny.
Well, I mean, I'm being reductive here. Yeah, but what I'm saying is it all started with that, that idea, and it started on the ground floor, and it started because the Comics Book Code Authority came in and nerfed everything, and this was just kind of like, well, somebody needs to restart this thing because comics was dying, and so some upstarts got together and they started like doing things differently.
Well, it wasn't even that. It was the same group of guys that were going around to each studio and producing work under different names to make it look like the industry had something, so that they could build an industry that they were proud of and to revive the industry that they were proud of. I'm not doing this to stick it to the woke. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it I'm not in battle. I'm not in battle with Marvel and DC with the mainstream. I'm not doing this antagonistically. I'm doing it because of the love of what I'm making and the passion behind it. And we have got to start focusing on our brands. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is great to team up with publishers and to like to get together. But
why not us?
Yeah, here's what I love about Arrow Comics, because we're building the brand of Arrow Comics, but Randy's like, look, you're a representative. Yep. And your brand matters too. Arrow Comics is going to grow because Luke Stone Studios grows. It's going to grow because Agent Zero is growing. It's going to grow because the Mad Ruth Comics grows. It's going to grow because of our growth.
I've been writing a series of articles that Glenn Fleming's been printing in every issue of Comics Unlimited. He's got the third one now, and it's really long. But the whole ideal behind Arrow Comics is that it's always been creator owned, creator marketed, and it's up to us. It really is. It's up to us. Arrow is just a small vehicle for a lot of other properties and a lot of entertainment that needs to get out there in front of people under as many eyes as possible.
And we
And
each
that might not necessarily mean the retailers, but it needs to get distributed, needs to get out there, needs to be read and enjoyed. That's the whole purpose for Arrow. And I'm just carrying on what Ralph and Stu did back in starting in '85. You know, I wouldn't be Arrow Comics, especially after what I've gone through in the last year, if it wasn't for Ralph, if it wasn't for Luke, if it wasn't for people coming up and going, we need a place to be and a place to look unified. And that's Arrow all over. That's the whole philosophy that Ralph and Stu started. And that's the philosophy I want to continue with this company.
And I want all kinds of comics out there.
Yeah.
Not just
All
superheroes,
kinds,
not
for
just
everybody.
all kinds.
Oh, yeah.
That's
All kinds
from every point of view possible, as long as it's quality and great.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the whole idea.
What happened, some major beautiful things came out of the whole 2020 pandemic stuff. And one of the most beautiful things to come out of it, one of the things that, and it's what scares the corporations, is the whole bunch of creators realized we need the fans. The fans realized, well, we want the content. We need the guys who make it to get the content we want. We don't need diddly squat in between. And what happened is, and this is what terrifies them all, it's why AI is being pushed. It's why companies like, why Hasbro's running amok trying to ransack things. Because every field that's being ransacked by Hasbro, comics, the Nerf guns, the video games, D&D, all have one thing in common: a strong community of independent creators. You guys might not know it, but the guys who do their own Nerf guns have been huge for decades. Okay? I'm serious.
Yeah,
and all these other companies are popping up.
Now with
the
3D
independent
printers.
video game market
Yeah,
is that
exactly.
way. The RPG market is that way. Hasbro right now is representative of something that all over. Disney's scared of it. Hasbro's scared of it. DC is scared of it. Hollywood is scared of it. You know what most people go to for their entertainment? What the single most powerful entertainment website is? YouTube.
Yeah. I was thinking about
people
last
are
night.
turning off their TVs. They're not watching TV. They're watching YouTube, and they may watch TV through YouTube, but they're watching. They also have the option to watch goofy people like us. You know,
I would venture to say that of the people watching today, there might be a few of them, that have us turned on in their living room TV right now while they're working.
Yeah, I do it. When I am watching programs like this, assuming it's safe for my son, which is what I watch most of the time, I watch on the big screen in my living room through my Xbox, because I have one.
And the coolest thing about podcasts like this is you can turn up the playback speed so we all sound like chipmunks.
That is really cool.
Yeah, that too. But I mean, whatever floats your boat. We're not going through. This isn't some corporation having to pay some very pretty boy like Brad Pitt, more than my lifetime's amount of money for a couple weeks worth. It's actually sustainable and entertaining and educational and uplifting and relatively free. And that's why it scares the living heck out of all the main systems. Because we are proving, if we can do this, do we need middle management anywhere? The guys who do nothing but oversee and bark orders and then suckle the butt of their supervisor in the aforementioned, you want to know where the human centipede is. That's where the human
I could
centipede
use
is.
5.25 million and
Dude, that's what happened to G4. And they made like the great comeback. Dude, when G4 made the great comeback, it was that like insincere 2010 TV show format, and everybody rejected it. They didn't have the views. Right now, they can see like a kid, a 15-year-old kid who really enjoys video games, play the video games and be sincere about it. This whole like it's just
one of the biggest channels is some kid that opens up toys.
Yeah.
It's a kid unboxing toys. I'm like, and it's entertaining, and it's people playing Minecraft.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! Yeah, the Minecrafters are making huge worlds and then inviting people into their worlds.
And it's old guys talking
like
comics.
My friend Robin Yoda, the Lilac Bunny, long name. She's on Twitch and YouTube. She only has a few followers. She plays wholesome games and then talks about it a lot of the time.
The sponsorships these guys get.
Coin pushers and claw machines and slot machines all have their own channels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Big channels. Huge.
Yes.
But yeah, because you can find whatever floats your boat.
Yep.
Yeah, we're a small channel
if
here.
you have an idea, you can sit up with a few bucks.
Yeah.
And you can
don't
set
even
up
try to look for Muktau.
I mean, like, I'm talking to Pedro in Panama. At no point does this stop being incredibly awesome to me.
So
I have friends all over the world. My book, because I wrote a book because I believe anyone should learn how to sword fight. Anyone can.
Yeah.
The simple sword sells all over the world. It still sells even in Russia where they bootleg it. People will, I'm competing with the bootleggers and winning a couple times.
Yeah.
The fact that we are connected at the base terrifies the, I hate to say the word elites because that gets real spicy real fast.
Yeah.
But the oligarchs, the extremely wealthy, the people who want to control everything. Because we don't want to be controlled. Most of us want to be left alone. Most of us don't really want to be rich. Don't really want to deal with the hassle of being extremely rich.
We want our families to be well taken care of. We want a piece of land that we can die on.
And when we do a job, we expect to get paid.
Yes.
Right?
Thank
I'll
you.
do the job.
That's very nice.
Do the job. Run it.
I do the job. I get paid.
I do the job. And then I get paid.
Exactly. So, how important is advertising? Advertising is very important, but I'm not talking about paying YouTube for ads. I'm not talking about paying social media platforms for ads. Your best advertising is to get out in front of people, to touch grass, to go where there are people. And
I would say at this point, talking about that subject is probably best left for another episode.
I think so, yeah.
Especially since we were talking about being somewhere at 11:30. So
yeah. So you know what? Maybe next week we'll talk about advertising and some best methods that we've tried that worked, and some things that we tried that didn't work. Because I've tried a lot.
I like that.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about advertising next week. So come with your advertising questions, and we'll come with our advertising
answers,
experiences.
I'll have a notebook.
experience.
I'm not even lying.
It's better than answers.
Yeah.
Don't
But
buy
yeah, we
ads
gotta
on
start
Facebook.
building
Just don't do
ourselves.
it. Don't do
You know, I saw a comment that I don't know your persuasion, kind of where you come from, aggressively relaxing. I'm glad you're here, but originally the Comicsgate movement, I think, stood for some things, and they whined about it, and that's all that got done.
Yep.
Oh, you know what? I was on my recommendations on YouTube because I watch YouTube more. I do regular TV. My recommendations on TV popped up these comic book critique channels, and the titles of them, and I'm like, well, that's kind of interesting. And then you look at when it was released 2 years ago. They're talking about the same crap, the same problems. They're talking about the same stuff 2 years later.
Nobody's doing
the
anything
exact
about
same
it.
headline. Nobody's doing nothing. That's the problem. We need to get out there.
I think the time for talk is over.
There's in a wheel, bro.
Doing something.
Way past due.
Yeah, we're doing something.
We're doing something. I'm sorry.
I think the time
That's
for
part
talk
of it.
is over.
Nobody's doing something. Right here, right now, in the middle of this show, we are actively doing something. And that's what makes it interesting. That's what makes it defiant and heroic in my jam. Because, yes, we all complain about what the heck is going on. But everybody here makes stuff that's better than a lot of the stuff that's going on. The world needs to fund God, I lose your monkey circus named company. My brain just falls off, and I don't mean to disrespect.
Yeah, Pedro, what's the name of your company?
Oh, Creative Monkey Farm.
Creative Monkey Farm.
Yep.
That needs to be funded. I don't care about Skybound trying not to be Image or whatever. Tell you what, give them a tenth. Give them a tenth of the $500 million, whatever they want. Just mail that to Pedro Ang, Panama Subware. Don't worry, he's the sexiest man in the country. Everyone knows him.
He is. He's also the tallest.
So that's what you do. You just put the check hanging from a drone at like 6.5 feet, flying over Panama. Make sure we're the only one who can reach it.
Yeah.
We're fine.
He's like King Saul.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, but I say it in jest, but I mean it in my heart, because what Pedro's trying to build is glorious. What Luke is building, what Randy Stewart's, because he didn't build Arrow originally, but he is the steward. He holds the line, and he's holding the line till the next generation can take the baton from him.
I just want to make sure that next generation is actually reading comics. That's my concern.
Yeah, exactly.
And here's the thing, comics are awesome. If you don't believe me, maybe you'll believe this guy.
Comics are awesome.
See, they're awesome.
Even on the toilet, yes, sir.
There's. I'm telling you,
Keanu Steen.
They are so fun. They are. I mean, it's like books. I have tons of books. There's worlds of knowledge and imagination, and they can transport you to different places and times. They can help you imagine to be a different person, and comics has been a beautiful form of entertainment and communication for a very long time. The original comics were romance and westerns. I've got my father-in-law has an old Dell comics, a couple of old Dell westerns. The art in there is magnificent.
The original comics were political, but that's a whole.
They were political. But I'm talking about the ones that people really.
There were westerns. There were romances. There were crime comics, like you wouldn't believe.
Comics,
horror comics sprung out of there. Just for a while there in the 50s, before we got the Code Authority, there was all sorts of great comics coming out for every audience you can imagine.
Russ is absolutely right. It is such a complete form of storytelling.
Yes, it is.
It's our heroic fiction, guys. It's the heroic fiction of our culture.
It's mythology.
I'm going to rebuttal.
It's the modern mythology.
Going to rebuttal you a little bit, bub. So here's the deal with this comment. When people that have subpar talent, they're not good writers, they don't respect the art form, and they get a job because they check off some kind of a box because of their sexuality, because of their gender, because of their race, that is dumb. That is dumb. It's not because they don't like them. It's because they're not ready for that yet. They still have some growth to go through. But because they mark off a box, they got a job. And then they did a bad job. And when we say they did a bad job at the job they got hired for, people say, well, you're the bad guy. You must be some kind of an isterophobe. And they start turning the critique onto the fans that are criticizing the medium that they love. And that's not dumb at all for the fans to fight back and to say, no, I'm not taking it. You can't talk to me that way. You don't get my money anymore.
Oh.
CG was a way to fight back. They did something. But along the way, I think it lost what it could have been because there were people in there that had nefarious ideas and thoughts. They were ist and phobes. And wherever you have a good idea that stands out, you have people that will try to exploit that good idea and hijack it for their own purposes. Like, I am in full support of the movement of Black Lives Matter. I am not in support of the organization, the LLC, if you will, the incorporated Marxist theology of the trademarked Black Lives Matter. They aren't the same thing. They're not the same thing. They're different.
Don't
And
make
so,
me talk. I'm gonna get your channel in trouble.
yeah, it's. I mean, come on. It's not. It's just. It's almost a moot point at this juncture. That argument is well done and over. The point has been proven. The Whisper Network has been exposed. We know that it's a bunch of narcissistic half talents in there that want to make it a hive mind of leftist ideology.
Well,
And that's
the
not-
talentless and the
that's all it should
unthinking,
be.
the first thing that they do when they receive a critique is they say, it's not me, it's you.
Yeah, exactly.
They try to turn themselves into the victim and say, oh, you're picking on me, you must be an ist or a phobe. And that's not the way it goes. And you're seeing this more and more as more people are waking up, as bad as that expression is anymore, to the stupidity of those kind of arguments. It is you. You need to fix it. And if you're not fixing it, somebody else has to come up in there and to fix it. And it's left to us because we're the creative ones. We're the inventive ones. We're the ones that are looking at this from a creative angle. This system is not working. There must be a new system. That we're
coming at it from love.
And you go exactly, and you go and from the need to entertain people, you go back and you look at this art form's history, and you'll see that always happens. Whenever there's a problem, you see the creative, because we are in a creative market, will step up and creatively solve it. And that's what it's coming. The Comic Code Authority is gone. The old system of distribution is gone. The current so-called direct market is going. And if you can't understand that, if you can't see it, you're going to be left behind. It's that simple. Yeah. And a new system, new ways of distributing sequential art is there and is coming. It's crowdfunding, it's independent distributors, it's splitting this all back up in order to get the product out and in front of as many people as possible. And right now, you're seeing a lot of other corporate companies out there who are smarter than these big corporations who are so closed and hive-minded, doing inventive things, getting out into dollar stores, getting out into Five and Belows, you're getting out into crowdfunding. That has to happen more, and it has to happen all over the place. You go back and you look at the 30s and 40s, comics were everywhere. Comics on the newsstands, in the what do they call them? The bodegas or whatever, and
bodegas.
Bodegas. In the newsstand,
bodegas.
One out of every 3 magazines was a comic. Mm-hmm. You go out there and you look. I just pulled a picture off of Facebook today of one bodega's comic rack back in the early 50s. All comics, and it's huge. It's absolutely huge. We need to get back to that again. We need to get back to that point where we're selling comics everywhere we can, every chance we get.
Dude, the cool thing about bodegas is that you can get your comic books and blunt paper at the same time.
Right.
Well, a lot of the comic shops started out from the head shop.
Some shawarma.
And it's shawarma.
You know, that's where the independent, that's where the alternative, that's where the underground stuff all sprung out from. It's any place possible, and that's where we're at again. We need to get out there in front of as many eyes as we can, even wrap ourselves in bubble gum or whatever we have to do, even as little cheap chick publications if we have to. If we have
Rewind
to do it,
the
we
show.
need to do it.
Rewind the show, and we'll show you. We just spent the first hour of the show talking about the proof.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
You guys are going broke.
Don't come in acting. Don't come in acting a fool.
You know what?
Don't come
This
up.
is for
with
smart,
your
intelligent
knowledge.
conversations.
You better get an open mind if you want to stay in this business. It's that simple. Or you're just not going to get paid, and then where are you going to be?
Oh, the best part is, all the little friends they're going to come along. They're going to rage watch the show, and I'm going to get tons of views.
There you
and
go.
I'm going to get tons of watch hours from. I love it. It's my favorite.
Well,
Stupid
that's
question.
got
If I
to be
wanted
a
someone to
different
create a
show.
comic off of my...
That could be a while. That's got to be a different show.
I've been in this business for decades, and you don't have to believe me if you don't want to, or if you decide you're just going to pull that switch and not. But you're going to find out in the long run. I know what I'm talking about. That's the way it's going to go, so get ready.
To answer the question that was asked about, I have a stupid question. I want to create a comic off an idea. The best way I can think is Luke needs to do a solo, and I hate to say it has to be solo, but he has to not be distracted by us wonderful panelists, and he needs to start a program, a limited run program that making comics the Luke Stone way, and then when he's done, he needs to take the notes he draws on there, type it up, put it in a book, and publish it, so that he can make money helping people. It's
And I
almost
don't have
like
to answer the question again and again and again.
Aggressively
reacting.
You're not looking at the figures.
You're
You're
not
not
looking
looking at the real numbers. You need to go out there and look at those.
We've been looking at the
You really
numbers for
do.
the last month.
You need to go out there
on
and
this
look at them
stuff,
with an
yeah.
open mind. There are people that have been arguing and talking about this for years
Yeah.
that are just falling on deaf ears like yours.
Yeah, it just
Yeah,
needs...
see,
we're
Tim
talking
Mello
about the
would buy
solution.
that book, Luke.
We need to find solutions.
I just had somebody say that Tim Mello, right under Hojo, I'd buy that book. Grey Wolf Graphics. I've been trying to get you to do that book, not just because I desperately want to read it and use it as a reference. I mean, I will admit shamelessly I want to read it and do it as a reference. But Luke Stone needs to do doing comics the Luke Stone way, because hybrids is something you don't see. You don't see a lot of independent one-man shops or, outliers like you do putting out 10, 12, 14 issues. Most independent comics, let's be honest, are one-and-done fairs. They think they can do it. It's a passion project, and they lack the longevity of story. They lack the longevity of perspective, and they certainly lack the business sense that you have developed by making every mistake in the book to get where you are. That means you are uniquely qualified to make a textbook to help others. If there comes a point, it's like, why did I write a book on how to fence? Because I didn't want people to have to make the mistakes I did who wanted to get in there. When you reach a level of mastery of a craft, and mastery is not, I am the greatest, it's that you understand the fundamentals at a fundamental level. You know the whys and hows. When you reach that point, I believe there comes an obligation, a literal moral obligation to give back to the art that made you, and to create something that will help others get that footstep up. I'm intensely
I will say this
passionate
about
on that.
comics. Making a comic as an independent is very expensive, and it's a difficult process. The reason why a lot of indies are 1 or 2 issues and done is because their models aren't sustainable. They bite off more than they can chew. And
It's
important to
literally
try to-
like giving birth.
Yeah, it really is.
It really is. There's a lot of comparison there.
Grey Wolf has a specific Clip Studio paint question that I think you can answer quickly. The one I'm working on is a graphic novel. Excellent. Nothing wrong with being a graphic novelist. Can't get CSP to set it up as 6x9, so I have to go A4, 8.5 by 11.
You actually don't. I actually have a video on how to set up the comic to standard comic size and print size in my on my channel.
Yeah, it's a wonderful
probably one
video.
of the last
I
uploaded
reference
videos.
it regularly.
Yeah, it's very short.
I may be planning things.
Yeah, it's very short, and even in the what is that? The bio, the description.
Dude.
I set the other stuff up, and I think there's even a link in there where you can download a template that I've made that will help you with your pages as well. It's the same template that I give everybody that I work with. It is set up from like 3 or 4 different printer specs, so that it's kind of a universal thing that you can use with most printers. So that's how that works out. But yeah, it is possible. There's a video on that already, so you can check that out. It does have some weird settings. It really does.
But
you know
it's a
what?
great program.
I don't. I'm seeing an idiot in the comments. We're not even going to talk about this right now.
I will.
Clearly,
Here's,
yeah. Clearly, this dude is immoral.
This is
trolls
just
can live
trolling.
under the
No
bridge.
sense
Thank
in-
you.
They're
No
just
sense in
trolling.
giving
It's
it-
just something. I mean,
Yeah,
That's
it's
like
troll.
just trying to
about
keep
that
us going.
backdrop photo.
We're done.
There's no sense in wasting it.
Yeah, yeah. So
That's pointless.
anyway, so real questions I'll ask and I'll have time for, but
Yeah.
that question I do not have time for.
No.
Yeah, making comic books it can get really expensive, and it can be very difficult to try to manage all of those aspects, and so that's why. And if we're really going to get some of the talent that's out there and let them do their own thing, like let's look, Eric July was able to do it because he had a massive platform and had the money to be able to do what he did. You know,
Thank you,
Bunny.
Mojo.
Bunny doesn't have a platform, right? Like he's got like almost 400 subs. I'm probably I've got a decent amount of subs, but it's not that much. Those subs are propped up because of a mailing list I was able to get my channel featured on, and it was, you know, and they're propped up because of some of my old worship guitar videos that I've still got up, you know, that will gain a sub here or there, even though the content is completely separate from that now. But having that platform to be able to generate the sales to make back enough to be able to keep doing this, that's tricky.
Yeah.
And it's easier now than when Randy was doing it back in the 80s. Much easier now.
Yep.
It was much harder for these guys back then, and I have tremendous amount of respect for what they did, because I mean our job here is easy now when in compared to that. I mean, think about it.
We've got
We have the power
a
of the
good
internet.
example in this community. Billy Tucci came out of drawing like catalog images in fashion school, and he decided to make his own comic, and he got passed over by everybody because they didn't get it. This sexy ninja samurai chick, what, you know, and so, but he believed in it, and he decided he didn't want to be Macy's, work for Macy's all his life. So he believed in himself, took an investment in himself, had his people, his family loan some money to him, and he printed off a bunch of comics and started making rounds at Comic Cons. And he completely outside the system, and people took one look at his comic, and one look at it, and this sexy, fashion forward, beautiful image lady. She looked dangerous. She looked sexy, and she was wearing less clothing than most up to that point. And suddenly people just went gaga for it. And he changed the industry. Suddenly there's before him and after him. The way women were drawn before him is way different from what the way women were drawn after him. And that was completely, totally, somebody completely out independent of any comic system. He did it all on his own, and he's in our group. You know, I mean, I don't think he calls himself CG, but it doesn't matter. We call him CG. We embrace him like he's our own.
So
because he is.
I want to clarify something. Branching out and reaching people is, if you think for 1 second that's what the mainstream has done and what they attempted to do, no. They did it they intentionally tried to troll the fans because they didn't like them. They were lashing out at the fan they had because they didn't care for them. They were diametrically opposed to them.
Billy invented male gaze.
And
pretty much.
Wow, that is sharp. That is sharp. Right or wrong, however you feel about that is sharp. I like see, that's a comment that makes me. I will be pondering that.
But what I was about to say is that they weren't reaching a new audience in addition to what they were doing. They tried to reach a new audience in spite of the one they already had. So it was like cutting off your nose to spite your face. They wanted a different audience. They didn't want a larger audience. We want a larger audience. Give people what they want across the board. Give them something that they can enjoy.
About 30 years ago, these big corporations gave up catering to readers. When they signed them exclusive deals with Diamond distributors, their customer literally went from the reader who walked into a drugstore and picked up a comic off a newsstand to a middleman of a retailer who ordered books directly through the distributor, through the publisher. At that point, they were told their demographics narrowed down to a thin group, and that's what they've been catering. They've been catering to that group for a while, and now they're catering to a different group, just a group that comes in and blindly buys comics because the covers look pretty.
Yeah.
That's the main reason why you get all of these variant covers and all of the slabbing done, all of these collectors. That's the market. They're not interested in gathering new readers. That's why they allow whoever to come in and whatever box they check to write whatever story they want, which is usually grandstanding soapboxing about their own political opinion or their own self-insert. That's the stuff you're getting from the big two anymore. That's the stuff they allow to happen because they don't care what's on the inside of the book. They care about the 25 variant covers that they're selling to the retailer, and then have the retailer try to find the collector out there to buy those variant covers so that they can take them to CGC and get them slabbed. That's the big corporation's audience right now. That's not the audience that we want to foster. We want to foster people who are entertained by reading the comic.
Yes, you want to go after. Those.
Those are the fans that stay. Those are the fans that are always going to be there once they decide that this is the brand of entertainment for them, and that's not entertainment they're getting out of the big companies right now.
Yeah, I mean,
and these retailers are having such a hard time covering their butts now that they can't pay their Diamond bill. Diamond then can't pass that money on to the publishers. That's why the talent is left to rust and to not get paid.
Yeah, and we've covered the articles over the course of the last few weeks where they've talked about trolling the fans. You know, where they, you know, these are people that are they're writing these articles that are, they're complaining about people doing this stuff. We know that it's been happening. If you don't open your eyes to it, the thing is,
that's blind.
The thing is, these niche shops are great, but we need to get more people through into the comic book market. People that aren't buying comic books. Let's keep making what the people that read them. Let's keep fostering stuff for them, but we need to take those books out into a market that isn't so niche, which is what Randy's talking about. In order to buy a comic book, you have to go to a comic book shop. You should be able to go to a bodega. You should be able to go to a newsstand. You should be able to go to a
Walmart.
Go to a drugstore, a Walmart, to
get these books. You got to make these books available. Right now, I'm getting ready to move to a town that does not have a comic book shop for 20 miles.
Anyway,
there's not a comic book shop for 20 miles where I'm going. But you know what they've got? They've got a flea market.
Yeah.
So guess what this guy's going to do? I'm going to look into setting up a table at the flea market for comic books, so that people can access comic books.
And it will be appreciated. Because here's what
it's going to be indies and back issues because that's what I have access to.
Yep.
No, and you say that, there should be no tone. That's one thing we have to stop. We have to stop the word "just" in our vocabulary, and the feeling of just.
Let me say it's only going to be.
Did you hear what it said? It's going to. There was a reflexive, apologetic tone. This just independent. No, we're making comics. You're making comics that are better written, better drawn. You're making a superior product. Just because that superior product has not caught on right now does not mean any of us should hang our heads.
At this thing, right? They're going to be able to get Perfect 10. I'm working on I'm going to be talking to Dave, see about getting Perfect 10 in there. You know, like all these like great comic books that are out there that we enjoy. I'm going to try to get them there so people can buy a copy and say, hey, when do I get the next one? It's like, well,
That's how
okay if I take a shot. Okay if I take a shot.
Take a shot.
Do it.
There are comics out there, guys. If you are just backing the guys who were formerly in the mainstream, you are missing the best comics in CG. You are missing the best comics in this community if that's all you're backing. As a matter of fact, I can name you 5 off the top of my head, and this man up here, Hybrids, is one of them. That is way better than some of the people that are getting back to high 5 figures and 6 figures right now. And if all you're backing, all you're looking for is that mainstream pedigree in this independent space, then you are missing the ball game, guys. You're missing the main event. You're missing the people that are going to change things.
Yeah,
Because
remember
those guys, we know what they've got. We've seen what they've got. Maybe you look at somebody like Shadowpunk, who did a 5-minute video, 5-minute mini movie of his comic, a prequel to his comic. It took him 5 years to make it. And it's beautiful. It's 3D and it's incredible. Okay? And it's getting and that comic should be 5 figures at the least.
I mean, I'm in talks with Pedro about turning each issue of Hybrids into a mini animation with voice actors, you know, to get it done, you know, because he's clearly capable with what he can do.
This is something I'm loving, because you know what we're hearing? Getting it done. Okay. We the only limit is I hear the reflexive, bless you, T-Bunny, but you can't not fly the flag. You can't say a sentence without flying the flag. And it's actually for us to come together and be big enough to hold our own against the big corporate mechanism, the machine. You know, the corporate machine that's trying to drive CG art, that's trying to drive one message. See, even if I agreed with the message, I'm uncomfortable with only one message out there. I don't, but I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah.
We have
it's got to be bigger than Comicsgate and mainstream.
And
it's got to be bigger than independent and mainstream. It's got to be bigger than left and right. It's got to be bigger than, you know, we have to. Now, there's going to be idiots out there that aren't going to open their eyes and see that there is a problem. But there is a problem. And the comics market is dwindling. And the big dogs are if they're smart, they're changing their business models. But we've got to find new readers. We've got to access new readers. That's what we have to do.
And you have to make a better product. And the American style comics market is dwindling. Sequential art, when you look at what's being done with the manga, is soaring.
Yeah.
So what you have to look at in part is what's the difference.
You know how many artists are not focusing on sequential art, but cover art? There's so many cover artists that can't do sequentials.
I'm so tired of comics that lie to me. You want to cheese me off? I walk into a comic shop. I pick up, I go, the cover on this is awesome. And, you know, DC's great at doing that. Marvel sometimes is even better. Holy smokes. And then you open it. And you go, and you close it. And then you open it again. And you think, did they bind somebody else's comic in here? I've been seeing pictures of panels and pages go across from some modern comics. And I literally ask, now, is this a published thing or is this fan art? Because it looks like middle, I hate to say it, but it looks like middle school grade fan art. And it really looks like middle school fan art.
Yeah. Eric, what's your experience
I was
there,
a
man?
middle schooler. I drew that way. I've worked in schools. I've seen the comics. I talk to kids. Like, they're going to be shocked.
Eric already said it at the top of the show that what did you call it? It's how'd you put that?
Restate everything as a question because I got lost in the bloviating.
You got lost in the what?
The bloviating.
Oh.
Yep.
No. The you said something about the normies can't tell if it's good art or not.
Oh, yeah,
It's a
absolutely.
subpart,
Yeah. Normal people going to a convention, they don't analyze things like we do. They don't see things the way we see them. They see something that excites them, they buy it, and they'll walk away with, crappy drawings, crappy written books. They're not the ones. They're not the ones that we should be worried about quality control. We got to do quality control before it gets to them if we want to control how things are and keeping a good product. But at the end of the day, that's what I see at every convention, all the time. It's usually always the kids too. They're not looking at things in terms like we would look at them.
Sometimes the kids are looking at, hey, I can draw that. I mean, I hate to say it, devil's advocate a little bit, but some of it's like, I can draw that, I can understand what I'm looking at. But I'm wondering if dialing down the art quality isn't deliberate. Because if all the comics look more amateurish in the mainstream, it's easier to draw that way. And it's much easier and it's much faster to crank out crud. So if you inoculate the audience into this is what comics should look like. When I was trying to get in, started with.
I do have this question, Eric. So here's what I noticed while I was, I've done a few cons since I've been back. You do way more conventions than I do.
Yeah.
In the conventions I was in, I noticed nobody cared about your political views.
Oh, no, not at all.
It was about what's cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of this fighting that happens on the internet and trolling one another, that's not real life. It's propped up because people can hide behind screen names and avatars. In real life, no one really cares about that crap. They don't
that's
care.
That's a correct observation. One of the things I've always maintained in the 20-some years of doing cons is that there's world peace at a con because you've got people from every demographic, every skin tone, language, like you can think of it. We all just enjoy this stuff and we get along fine.
Yeah.
We've got trolls online and bad governments. That's the reason why we're at war with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if we could bring some of that unity into the digital space, it would be great. It would be great. But I think every creator needs to get out into at least 2 conventions a year, because it will give you a much different perspective.
That's grass, kids.
Of what's
That's
really out
hard
there.
for me, man.
Or get to a local shop if you can.
Yeah, dude. The only thing I can do
And
to
hang
touch
out.
grass is go outside and slap the horse.
There you go.
And I think I'm going to do that right now.
Go slap the horse?
Yeah. I have 2 horses. One of them hates me.
I thought that was code for something. I got a little worried.
My ear popped, so thank you for restating that it was a horse.
Horse.
Oh, that's the other one. See,
Turn around and slap the
those are like
horse.
10 minutes away.
No, I'm not even trying to be
That's a
farcical.
longer
I
walk,
genuinely
yeah.
hurt. I was like, wait a second.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to talk to Blue Teddy for a second because she was talking about how you look at the cover and the art. Ron, I had the same problem up until the 90s. I had 1 or 2 comics I would read. I'm like, okay, this is okay. But the art didn't catch me and the stories were, if they were good, they were the same ones I'd see on animation. But there were three artists that really hit me and pulled me into comics. J. Scott Campbell.
Nice.
Because his art was amazing. It's between Mark Silvestri and Michael Turner because they worked so together and their style kind of overlapped. And then Joe Mads. These guys, these guys' art. One, as somebody who had a lot of background with anime, a little bit with manga when you could find it. Their art was good, it was consistent, and it was dynamic. And I think if we keep putting out better-looking comics, what will eventually happen is people are going to do if I open this and I open this, it blows it out of the water. You're going the mainstream rooted explosion of like Marvel movies, DC movies, all that stuff is going to fall because they've been following the same timeline. And we are getting to the timeline in this new wave of comic
Dark
fans,
Ages,
who we should welcome. It's okay to love the origin of Spider-Man. It's okay to love the origin of Iron Man and the Iron Man movies and things. But if you watch, they're pulling from the comics, and we all know what's going to happen. They're going to hit the era where comics kind of went because of outside motivations.
Yeah, they got
and they
weird.
stopped being good stories.
Yeah.
I do believe a lot of the intentions were good. I do believe on one level people were trying to be inclusive. They were trying to do the right thing. But the corporate side of it did it fast and did it
they're sloppy.
they did it for the money. So they took what could have been a good thing and they twisted it and they went zero sum with it, and then the stories suffered. And no matter how good the art is, I love good comic art. And bad comic art often will keep me from buying it. But bad story will keep me from ever reading it again.
Hey, Grey Wolf Graphics, if you need help with animation, hit me on the DMs. Let me know what you need.
So check this out.
Yeah, you said something about style, Nick, and I want to address that because it seems like toddlers are doing it, but these are people trying to emulate the simplification of drawing without knowing what's behind.
Yes.
And one of the guys who did it best is not well known, Alex Toth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He gave us Birdman. He gave us Space Ghost. His drawings may look simple, but all the structure is in there. And now all these guys are trying to emulate that style. And me coming from an animation background, I understand exactly what he's doing. But they're trying to emulate what Alex Toth did without knowing what's behind.
Right.
How to structurally construct the form. And it looks like a toddler.
Yes.
Yeah,
well, that's
gotta
the
get
thing.
better at it, yeah.
Amen.
When you had Batman the Animated Series and Superman and Justice League, that whole arc of a very distinct art style, a lot of people tried to mimic it, just like the people who try to mimic anime. I love anime. I love the Justice League era of the art. I thought that, but when it is refined, you have to have a quality understanding to narrow it down to the minimals.
Let's talk about Marv V for a second. Marv V's first book, great, loved it. The one he's working on now, number 2, he has stepped up leaps and bounds in his art.
He's working on 3. He gets better everyone that he does.
His art has improved leaps and bounds. He shared some art on Facebook the other day, and I was like, holy cow, look how good Marv has gotten. That's what you want to see. You want to see that constant progression. And I think that people are seeing now in comics that it's kind of the reverse. Like you're seeing kind of a digression in what's happening. It's not good, But you're not only seeing that in the art, you're seeing that in the storytelling. Look, I love She-Hulk.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest about She-Hulk. That was a copyright attempt. That character was so that DC couldn't copy, right? The story was rushed. She's had better storylines since then because they've had time to think about it.
Savage She-Hulk is brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, initially it was kind of rushed, and you could tell when some of this stuff is being rushed, or when the original writer that had the plan and the idea, something else happens. You know why we have the death of Gwen Stacy? Because the writer that took over for Stan while he was on vacation decided to kill Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
And Stan was like, "Why did you do that?"
Nice.
It wasn't his original vision, but he had to fix it. That's how good of a writer Stan was.
Dude, there's a simpler reality in this whole art creation thing, and that's what makes it funny to me. Like the whole AI art. If you keep on drawing every day, and your passion is in it, you can only get better at it.
Right.
That's something that's completely gone when you're doing AI art. 'Cause what are you going to get better at putting prompts in?
Yeah,
there's
no,
a limit.
literally. What the only growth you're going to get is how good how good people are in making prompts. I mean, really, what we're going to see is a whole network of people claiming to be artists, and they really, I would have no problem with them calling themselves prompters or almost a form of coding, and that it will become a discipline in time.
As long as they told yourself like, "Hey, I'm an AI artist," I have no problems with it. That's the thing. Be honest on what you're doing.
No, you're an AI prompter.
Prompter. There you go.
Yeah, you're an AI prompter.
But
but this guy's going to make money off that campaign. No, he's not. He's got one backer, but he's attempting. He's attempting to make money. We are seeing AI art being sold on convention floors.
Yeah.
People are selling prints of this stuff. They're making money off of something they stole.
Did you know? I really feel for hyper-realistic artists, like digital hyper-realistic artists. They have been doing this for years, and now their art is being confused for AI art. And one guy was like booted out of somewhere just because his art was really good. It's like, oh man, that's
you know, and that's part of the reason why a lot of artists are going to just doing back to traditional stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Is because now I can prove I did it. You can't say that I didn't. It's right here.
That's part of the reason why, even though my stuff is low level,
I'm working on a bust for someone, a physical piece of art, and I've mapped out my lines for my inking because they want Black Panther, and Black Panther happens to be one of my favorite characters. So I mashed it up a little bit, but here's the deal: people are going to have a look. I can physically draw. I actually know how to do it. That they've got to almost prove that now.
Yeah, if I could say something to every convention goer in the future, don't buy prints from artists who don't offer sketches.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And see, when I do art on the floors, I sell it. It's like I will draw what you want in front of you. And when I do digital art, because I do a lot of digital art, Luke has done a lot to help me. Glenn, don't come at me. I can't afford paper right now. Cardstock is so expensive, I cannot afford it right now.
Dude, if I ever go to a convention in the US...
We glossed over the cost of printing
dude.
Earlier in the conversation. We've got to talk about that again.
Yeah. Dude, if I ever go to a convention in the US, I'm going to animate in front of people.
There you go.
I do have my animation disc and everything. So I'll just bring it.
Because when I do art on like DA now, I put the link, usually, unless I'm very tired, the link to I record it through Clip Studio, and I do the time-lapse videos, in part because I enjoy watching time-lapse videos, and it's a good way for me to kind of go over how I did something. Do I like it, in
I have a draw stream this afternoon. A Luke draws today at 4 o'clock, I think. I think 4 or 4:30. I got to double check my schedule. But I'll be sending that out here in a little bit to everybody. I'm drawing an original character for Mark Polton's newest campaign that he's running. So in that cases, when I'm doing that live, man, digital is so great because it allows me to be able to do that with very little setup.
Yeah, no, that's exactly my first business was that, Grey Wolf. I went with a stack of Walmart 8.5 by 11 cardstock, but it went from $3.77 to 12 something. Yeah. It is $12 for me, so the cost, quadrupled. This is insane.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out why the cost of paper's gone up. I'm working that out, and so we can talk about it, and I can have at least some working understanding of it. So
I mean, the quality of index cards, the weight of index cards has gone so much lower than it used to be.
Right, yeah.
Because I used to do all sorts of crafts with them, and you can't anymore because there isn't enough rigidity to the paper. It's,
So you're working on lint paper?
Yeah, well, some of it, it's really hard to do some of that with lint paper,
All right.
Here, wait.
So, guys, we're coming up on 3 hours.
Look at Pedro. Oh, it got stiffer. I just need Pedro around to keep
There you go.
Look, we're coming up on 3 hours. It's time to close this the show down.
I've streamed 6 hours. This will be 6 hours.
It's been a great conversation.
I did a 3-hour stream around
It has been a
midnight.
great
Let's go.
conversation. We've covered a lot of really good things today. Thank you, moderators, for taking care of the chat for us.
Yeah, seriously,
today.
all
I
jokes
appreciate
aside,
it.
thank you, Hojo, especially.
Yeah.
Mighty is the banhammer, long may it swing.
We want reasonable conversation because that's what we're trying to be, is reasonable. We've already said that, this isn't about pushing the mainstream or trying to tear the mainstream down.
Yeah, exactly.
It isn't about pushing CG and trying to tear CG down. It's neither one of those things. It's about building our brands and finding new customers, finding a way into their hands.
Can I add
That's what's
one other
important.
thing to that?
Please.
All of us here are also customers.
We
I mean, I hate to say it, but we're not just in the hair club for men. We're also clients. But I want to read good comics. It's not like I stopped reading Marvel out of spite. It's not like I stopped reading DC out just because I'm like, okay, well, I
heard
admit,
something, dude, Nick, you're going to laugh at this. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I know I'll forget. You got to hear this. I heard from someone that said they stop reading comics when they're writing a new book. That if they're going to be working on a new book, they don't read any comics at all.
A new comic book? Now, I can understand because they're worried about idea crossing.
Well, no. If you have a good idea, you want to read for execution.
Oh yeah, I said no.
How are they doing it? How are they
shoot,
making the book? How are they? When you're writing, you look at some of the camera angles that they're using, or the panel angles.
You want? I am using this right now as a textbook. I'm not going to lie. I love Joe's work. I know the problems with it, but I'm looking at the old sketches in the back. I got this at Ollie's for next to nothing.
Yeah. Oh, don't get Randy started on his Ollie's finds.
But I like the way he does art.
Once I get settled in and I'm unpacked, we'll have one of our shows will be
I got
things
this
we found
for
at
$1
Ollie's.
because it was water damaged on the cover. I'm not a speculator. I open this and I can see a bunch of people how they drew Iron Man, Jim Lee, and people not Jim Lee.
Yeah.
Being able to look at these things makes you a better artist. So yeah, it makes, and that's not. I'm not stealing.
Yeah.
I'm not.
You're not stealing, but yeah. How can you
I look
write
at
a
you and
comic
I
if
go,
you don't read
how
it?
does Luke do his cross hatching? And I watch Luke do his cross hatching.
Yeah, how can you get better at drawing if you're not referencing? How can you be a better photographer if you're not looking at other people's photos and trying to study what they do? How can you be a better basketball player if you're not trying to figure out?
Watch the
Peyton
tapes.
Manning always watched tapes. Like he watched more tape than anything else in his life. I mean, I can imagine he's sitting on the throne, with his phone watching tape while he's doing his business. I'm like,
any
that's what you
athlete
do.
who competes does that, and you have to treat yourself like a professional. That's the problem with a lot of people. They want to treat. This is a business. This is a career. This is a job. Yes, there is passion. Yes, there is joy. Yes, it is artistic, but it is just as valid a set of creation as a guy running a welder or an assembly line or a plumber. We are crafting something. Yeah. And what we are crafting are the stories that make people. Now, whether it makes them better or worse or different, well, that depends on the story and what's read. But, gee, I think that's important.
Yeah.
And, heaven help me, I like comic books in whatever form. I like Japanese comic books. I like the Korean comic books that have been translated, the manhwa. Yeah.
I like watching.
European.
I like reading sequential artwork.
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
it. It's so cool. Yeah.
And that you could just open it up and see a picture. I believe this is good. I believe that sequential artwork is the peak of analog information exchange. I think it's the highest form because it's the only place where visual media and written dialogue and written descriptions and onomatopoeias and all that can come together to tell a story in a medium that is so
just
powerful.
crack a boom.
Every digital format that you see is based on it.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Every video is based on it. Every show. Because guess what storyboards are, folks? Storyboards are uniform, boring grid, sequential art. They're freaking comics. Every movie you watch probably started out as a comic.
Where'd Eric go?
Yeah.
Bye, Eric, if you had to go.
Dropped,
well, we just cracked noon. He may have had to go.
Yeah, I gotta go too, guys.
Crack a noon.
I'm half hour over what I promised I'd be today. So my phone call is come and gone. Guys, it's been fun. I love these conversations on Thursday. They get me excited about making comics and hanging out with the fans. The news that we've been covering lately, I think we're seeing
everybody
a trend.
on this panel reach out to the indiecd.org. Just do it because it's a one-time cost. It is not much, and right now all the money that's going to it, instead of him keeping it, he's passing it to some people who got $30,000 in medical debt.
Ouch.
From I believe COVID was involved.
Wow. I'll tell you what. I'll get with you this afternoon on that information.
Hey, thanks for coming on. You made some great points today, Blue Teddy. Blue Teddy is somebody who needs to be more active online in her creations and stuff. I had a blast doing a character for her. She's just neat people. And we need more sharp, neat people who civilly can discuss things. That's how we get
We don't need
stuff.
stands.
There's too many of me around.
Yes.
Too many.
I love you, buddy, but you're absolutely right. You are my favorite, troll. But you're not like a full bridge troll. You're the kind of troll who hangs out in a garden.
I'm troll light.
He's like a garden troll. Yeah,
you're garden troll. You're
garden gnome.
You're a civil troll.
More like a
Garden gnome.
I'm built like a gnome.
Oh no, he's not a garden gnome. I can't give him that much of credit. Sorry, love you, but don't talk about my people that way.
Ooh.
Yeah, Nick's a gnome.
I apologize.
You should see. I saw a picture.
I didn't
of him.
even need to miss species you again.
I don't know. I've always seen Nick like a gold dwarf for some reason.
Thank you.
Dwarf.
I don't know. Yeah.
I do function somewhere.
Yeah, we
between a
digress
dwarf
so many times on this show. This is like podcasting, the ADHD version. Yeah. Podcasting now in HD, ADHD.
Squirrel!
Yeah. All right, guys. So it's been a good day. It's been a good day. We got a lot to create, a lot to do out there. Definitely check out aerocomics.store. Check out that new shirt. I ain't got time today. I have comics.
Thanks for
tonight.
the sub, Gray.
Yeah, check out all of that. You know what? I might just make
ordering shirts today.
Yeah, I might just do
so that I can print them.
The Luke Stoneway, because Nick is trying to talk me into it. I think I'll work on it. But in the meantime, I am in the middle of a big move, guys. Big move. If you find my social media, if you go to my Facebook, I do have a GoFundMe because all of my income, all of my funds are invested in Fund My Comic, which is not live yet, but hopefully will be live soon. It turned out to be more of a beast than what was anticipated. So deployment, a lot of bugs were found that weren't there before. Sometimes when you migrate over to the new system, which is why Marvel's digital app wasn't updated for New Comic Book Day, because they're running through similar problems, changing things over, running into bugs.
That in Comixology lost 90% of their employees.
Their employees,
yeah. But Marvel's side of it is different than Comixology.
Luke, you're swinging on the biggest guys in the world. I mean, think about who you're stepping up to JoJo style. You're walking up on Marvel. Well, Marvel's part of DC. Did I stutter? I'm making comic books. But we're this. I do not care. What? Instagram? Indiegogo? Kickstarter? Luke is just walking in like the little short dude walking into the bar. Like,
remember the unofficial motto, fund my comic, bitch.
It's fun. Oh, God. I just see that written on Juggernaut's helmet. You know what I mean?
Speaking of that. even stop by and sign up for early access. Keep signing up, because as soon as we start sending out the emails, you'll start getting emails to sign up and create your accounts. Even if you don't plan on building a campaign, but you plan on buying, it'll allow you access to the site so you can start seeing what's there. I do have some updates on my channel. Go back and look at those on kind of where we're at. I did them on Sunday night. Yeah, follow those things. I've got plenty of videos. Make sure to like and subscribe. If you see a video that you like, usually monetization is turned on. You can give me a thank you. Those thank yous help out a lot, believe it or not. And so yeah, asking for your help. Like I feel like the Bernie Sanders of comic book YouTubing. Once again, I'm coming to you asking for your
help.
Yes. So thank you. Thank you, panel, for being here. You've been great. I don't know how I swing getting some of the talent I do on this panel. It's amazing. Chat, thank you. You've been amazing. Moderators, you've been amazing. We've had great views today and a lively discussion. And we're going to go and make more comics.
Thanks for helping us make 50 episodes. Just want to point out, this is the 50th. That's pretty big deal, folks.
Awesome.
50 weeks of... We're almost coming up on a year, Luke.
We really are. We really are.
I mean,
we're
weeks
actually,
from a year.
Well, there's a couple of
That's a lot
weeks
of
that we
bacon.
didn't stream. So we're actually more than a year. We've been doing this for more than a year. But there was a couple weeks that we didn't stream because of the holiday.
That's true.
Right? And then a week where we were gone with travel.
I missed a couple.
Yeah.
But, so we've been at this for over a year. We're on 50 episodes. It feels like just yesterday that I got a little... Hey, Nick, you want to co-host a show with me? Yeah, sure. Click. Did I just agree to an episode or a series? Oh, well, I'm sure it'll
You're
work
here
out.
forever, Nick. But Nick, think about how many friends you've made because of this show.
Oh my gosh, yes. Absolutely.
I reeled him right in, Bunny.
I mean, you guys, I tallied it up a couple nights ago. I make, if I count all my broadcast hours and the assorted things I make money on, if all I was doing was getting paid for my broadcast hours, I make about 13 cents an hour. And I want to thank you. When I say, I'm doing this on next to nothing, right now I'm making about 13 cents an hour. So
Yeah, we know.
Thanks for making that possible. But
even the super chats, it barely pays for the StreamYard. Like, actually it doesn't anywhere close. That's we all chip in on it now. Because I was like, oh yeah, it's monetized. We're gonna be able to pay for the StreamYard. I'm like, no, we're not. Gonna even be close to doing that.
Huge shout out to Joe Bachman / the Independent Creator Directory, who is the sponsor that keeps all my stuff streaming.
Nice.
Because there's no way I could have pretty StreamYard without that.
Yeah. I'm just popping some stuff in there.
Arrow Comics
Bunny, where can they
stuff
find you,
store.
buddy? Real quick. 10 seconds. Where can they find you?
Telepathic Bunny Comics, Telepathic Bunny on YouTube, and also on Twitter. Just look for Telepathic Bunny.
Awesome.
There's only one bunny that's telepathic. There you
go. Agent Zero's busy. Pedro.
Hey, okay, so you can find me at Pedro Ang, at Anguilla on Twitter. You can find me at Pedro Anguilla39 on the Instagram, and Pedro Caicel, if you can understand what I just said, on Facebook. And the thing is, there's a pedophile pastor on Facebook that has my name. That's why I don't use it.
Oh.
Yeah, dude. When they search it, that guy pops on first. And it's like, oh my god! No, it's not me.
I didn't know that was happening.
Yeah, dude. That's horrible.
Holy cow. That's very unfortunate.
Yeah, dude. So
Is that something you could report? I mean, people get zucked for hitting the wrong button. Do you think maybe you could just
yeah,
go
I did say the report. It's like, no, there's nothing we can do. Like, that's his name. And I was like, oh, okay. Can I like a number? No, you can't change it because you've been with that. Like, I opened Facebook in 2009 or something.
Wow.
So I can't really. It's just
okay.
So I don't use
So
Facebook.
make
that
sure
much.
you're following the right Pedro.
Yeah. Right. Please.
There's another one. It's a little shady.
Exactly. And yeah, dude, if you need animation, if you need illustration, look for this guy. I'll take care of you.
Yo, Pixie. Just missed Eric.
Yeah, just missed it. Yeah. Randy, what's up? Tell me.
Facebook, Twitter, you can find me if you look hard enough. You can find my works at arrowcomics.store. Like Paragon, for example, is a superhero book that I write. Calico is a fantasy book that I write. HeroBot Zero is a character that I write and draw. 3-foot-tall giant robot fighting large monsters. Even a HeroBot Zero 2 is now available over on arrowcomics.store. If you go over to the Indie Comics Network, I do 2 shows. Neither one of them are bitching about the market.
Nice.
I like that. 2 comic shows. One that's Friday morning. That's going to be on tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. Comics by Night. It's all archived over at the Indie Comics Network. Me, Glenn Fleming, and Comic Book Black Belt, usually whoever else that we can find awake that early in the morning. We all sit around and we talk about great sequential art. We've done 3 episodes on Steranko alone. We've done 3 episodes on John Byrne's Elseworlds books or Elsewhen books. Tomorrow morning, we're going to be looking at hopefully the first 5 issues of Eerie from Warren Magazine's. Beautiful stuff, great stuff. Last episode we did was on the Alien movie adaptation by Walt Simonson. Had the IDW Artisan book there, shot right off of the originals. Great, a lot of fun. Then on Sunday mornings, 9 a.m., we do Sunday Funnies, where we talk about more of the stuff that inspires us, the stuff that lights our fires, the positive things about this market and this industry that makes us want to do more of what we do. Last Sunday, 2 Sundays ago, we looked at cartoons. If you go over there and take a look, animation, old stuff that I remembered from my youth. We might do that again this Sunday as well, because there's so many other great things to look at.
Hey, Randy, if you're doing animation this Sunday, hit me up.
All right,
man. I might
9 a.m.
Awesome.
9 a.m. Hit me up on Facebook. I'll happily send you a link. We'll love to talk about it. Want to talk about Captain Fathom? We talked about we only got struck once on that cartoon show that we watched, and that was because somebody out there says they own the music for Cool McCool.
Oh my God, Cool McCool.
Yeah, and we've shown the opening for that before, and we weren't struck, but we were struck this time. But anyway, we looked at a little bit of Space Angel, talked about Alex Toth. We showed Frankenstein, the opening for Frankenstein Jr. and the Impossible, Secret Squirrel, that kind of stuff. All the stuff I remember when I was a kid that I loved, that inspires us to do what we want to do, or to do what we do. 9 a.m. Sunday mornings, Sunday Funnies, all of that stuff's archived over at the Indie Comics Network on YouTube. Go over there and take a look. A lot of great discussion, a lot of great fun. So that's what we're here for. Try to spread the word. Other than that, look at arrowcomics.store. There's a lot more stuff coming there as well. So very excited about what we've got
Nicholas
coming up.
Tockert.
All right, my name's Nicholas Tucker, freelance author, artist, swordmaster, game designer, and retired paranormal consultant. I've seen it. Most important thing.
And handsome man about town.
Putting on the Ritz is now a public domain. What is
Nick,
not
no, for a second, Nick
domain,
was like, "Did Bunny just compliment me?"
I'm not processing that fact. It's terrifying.
You're dynamic.
Hybrids, the Sons of Gods, the role-playing game, hybridsrpg.com. You can also get the quick play still while it's available, because who knows what Luke will do with this version. You can get that at Luke Stone Studios. My latest thing on Amazon is Art and Tales. It is parallel art. It's not quite sequential, but we're getting there. I'll be putting out some comic eventually. But this is 25 short stories inspired by prompts, just like an AI, but I have a soul.
Prompts for the soul.
For the last 20 years, I've been teaching people how to sword fight all over the world, thanks to my book, The Simple Sword, and the sequels, The Fighting Axe, and The Simple Spear. Because I believe martial arts, like comic books, are for everyone. And on top of that, for the last we're going on 15 years. I've been doing the big stompy robots in one form or another, and this is the core rule book for when you want to be able to play a tactics game with minis you already have, and you just want to blow stuff up and have a good time. You don't want to fill out a Scantron. You don't want to spend your life savings on British plastic. You just want to have a good time. That's what you get with Big Stompy Robots. You can go to JB Tech Apps and actually get a app companion. More are coming by my man Joe Bachman. I broadcast 5 times a week, semi-scheduled. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I do Nevermind the Furthermore on the Nicholas Talkert YouTube channel. Please subscribe. And that's at 10 a.m., where we have authors and artists and creatives all come together, and we do a much more civil version of something like this show, usually with a much smaller panel, if there's a panel at all. Usually it's me rambling, because the chat is more interesting than I am. Think about what you've seen of me today and realize what I am saying. On Friday nights at 8 p.m., I do the Historical Fencing Guild, where I stay in touch with the different people who want to learn to sword fight, have questions about Western and Eastern martial arts. We review products, we talk about techniques. Occasionally, I let my fans send me memes to watch me suffer. And on Saturdays, usually, though not this Saturday, well, maybe with the weather, I do Art Time with Nick, which is a usually 3-hour drawing show where I crank out art. I do 3 random thumbnails for my Nevermind the Furthermore, and then I take comments from the chat and I do art by request, simply to keep me sharp and keep everybody amused. Been doing that for quite a while now. I also do this little show called Nerd Bacon. It starts at 9 a.m. on Thursday mornings with my buddy Luke Stone, where we talk about whatever's on Luke Stone's mind. I'm the resident moderate in a room full of blessed lunatics, usually, trying to keep Luke from losing his sanity and his soul whilst navigating the world of politics, comics, and entertainment.
Nick, my Jiminy Cricket.
Yes. I am literally, the guy the pastor has to talk to when he needs somebody. And I find that delightful because it's not my first time in the role. So be sure to follow us. We have people far cooler than me on here, including the people in this chat, this panel now, and the amazing chat. If you want to reach out to me, yes, I am on Facebook, but frankly, Facebook is getting nigh unmanageable. So just follow me at ntalkert on Twitter. I'm easy to find. If you want to see my art, I'm still on DA because I've been there for nearly 20 years. And I'm stubborn. I was there before the AI, gosh darn it, and I'm not going to get run out by some wannabe techno Terminator. It's going to have to work harder than that. So that's www.
Please, somebody AI art techno Terminator.
Please don't.
Somebody get a Midjourney on that for me.
I threw up a little bit in my throat. Don't ever AI. Draw it yourself. I'd rather see a sucky sketch. Draw it, link it in the chat. We'll review it or something. But
maybe we will.
We're always desperate for content here. But if you want to see my books, they're all through, with the exception of the hybrids material, all through Amazon.com/author/Nicholas Talkert, and almost all my links are on www.nicholastalkert.com. Never mind that it looks like the site came out of 2012. I'm working on it. I think that is everything anybody needs to know right now about me. Be sure to look over your shoulder when you get up to make sure that there isn't a killer looming. Have you been paying attention to your surroundings? I hope so. Okay, Luke.
Nick, sometimes you're weird, buddy.
That's my
job.
job.
Love you, man. I love you, brother.
Oh,
LukeStoneStudios.com. LukeStoneStudios.com. Check that out. Got a lot of links over there. You can find me all those places. I will be streaming this afternoon, doing a draw stream. So come check that out. Remember to subscribe. And I even like it when the trolls come around.
If the trolls want to be civil, we can convert them to conversation, and I'm here.
He was just hunting for subs off of this channel. That's all he's doing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's all they do. I think it's funny that I've kind of come to a point to where people think I don't know if you know this, but I'm kind of a big deal. Not really.
Well, look, what's happened is you've had so many people latch onto your coattails like freaking barnacles.
Bunny told me a
that
couple
the
weeks ago, he
weight
goes, Luke, you
is
got some
just
clout. I'm like,
making
what?
you buffer.
What's clout?
Thank you for admitting it, T-Bunny. But, you're just straining. It's part of the reason Luke got so sick was he was so tired in the shoulders of supporting, a major comic movement solely on the power of his personality. I mean, we're asking a lot of you, Luke.
No, it's funny. I know.
Sorry,
it's funny,
I had to stop before I go brown-eyed. Anyway,
you're so full of crap right now. Anyway, Nick is he's like my hype man. Everybody needs a Nick in their life. They need to find yourself a Nick, and you'll go far. But no, check out aerocomics.store. Go by fundmycomic.com. Go by fundmycomic.com and sign up so you can do that. Please come back again next Thursday. Tuesday nights, our Tuesday night stream, Nerd Cap, is going to be on hold until the first full week of February. Once I'm settled into the new place, we will be doing Nerd Cap with a slightly new format because I've been trying to work out some of that a little bit.
Does
and
anybody
next week
know
we will
where
have
we can
a special
find
guest.
Agent Zero / Justin Sweet easy? Because his job is hounding him, and he deserves a sound off.
At Justin K. Sweet.
Oh, there you go,
on
folks.
Twitter. Follow him on Twitter, at Justin K. Sweet. He's launching on the 3rd of February on Michael Bancroft's channel. A fantastic channel, a friend of the show. I'm a huge fan of Michael Bancroft.
Before we cut off, there's one I want to plug. My boy, Mike Jimmy Lorsha DeBron, has his Life on Korra, the big compendium. It is an incredible. I'm gonna say it's an all ages book because it is, but don't think it's like poorly written or kiddie. It is incredible. He's doing so much for it. His Hung On animation series is amazing.
Go check out go check out Dreaded Dinosaur Man.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Check out Dreaded Dinosaur Man.
Webtoons.
Eric was here, on Webtoons.
Yep.
Great story. You will like it. Your kids will like it. It's good stuff, guys. Okay.
I like stuff like that. We need more stuff like that.
Next week we will have a guest. We'll have a special guest next week. They have a Kickstarter, and we're going to bring them on. We're going to get to know these people a little bit. Okay?
The one you sent me, that looked really good.
Yeah, we're going to check them out, and we're going to have a good conversation with them next week. And who knows who else might join the panel? I think I can fit up to 10 people in here, and we might try it.
Nice.
It'll be a circus. Oh my gosh, it will be a circus, but it will be fun. Remember, build up more than you tear down. Leave the wood pile higher than you found it. And by all means, let's be careful out there.
Be careful out there.
Let's be careful out there. Let's be careful out there. We had a 187 at the 7-Eleven on the corner of 4th and Main. 2 Caucasians of the male persuasion put a bullet through the cashier's brain. Moving on, I see a 211, half a dozen 459, 2 ADWs, a GTA, several miscellaneous crimes.